That's what I'm talking about. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Goglings, to episode 101 of Pen and Pixels. I am your host, Arvin Elleron. This is the show that focuses on story and narrative in games, and tonight we are playing some more Dungeons & Dragons with good old games. I'm joking. I know it's not good old games now. I just like to say all the words. D&D with GOG, Storm King's Thunder, and we're playing this, of course, with the spectacular GOG stream team, and I will introduce them to you in just a minute. Before I do that, I want to remind everybody, if you have not done so already, please follow this channel. Please support the channel if you possibly can by checking out the various streamers on here. If you can sub to the channel, you can get a lot of awesome emotes, and of course those that subscriptions does help support the streamers and the channel more generally. And obviously can get you some awesome emotes so you can spread the gospel of DRM free far and wide all across these internets. And of course check us out individually as well. A lot of us are individual streamers that individually stream, which I guess is redundant, on our own channels. And so we have our own subsystems and Patreons and things like that. So if you can support us doing our things that we do when we're not over here at GOG, that is wonderful as well. But it is episode 1 of 1 in Pen and Pixels. I was not here last week because it was Halloween and I was out trick-or-treating with the kids. And so it was good times to be able to do that. I had fun with my daughter. Today I had a parent-teacher conference for said daughter. And then we got back from that and I had my previous stream where I was doing Lone Wolf, and then I got right over to here. So we're all a little, there's a lot of stuff going on. We're all busy doing various work things, and some of us have colds and internet issues and all that, but we'll find out about that and we will somehow persevere. So with that said, let me get rid of this, and there we go. Hi, everyone. Good to see you all. Hope everyone is doing well. Welcome. And one quick note, by the way, to anyone who is in the United States, if you are within the sound of my voice, go vote. It is 4:15 p.m. Eastern. That means that all across the country, polls are going to still be open everywhere. I am going to go vote as soon as I'm done tonight because it finishes tonight at about 7 p.m. Eastern. And 7 p.m. Eastern, the polls don't close for us until 9 p.m. Eastern. So we have another couple of hours to go. So there are a lot of important local elections. There's a lot of elections being held across the United States, and this is the way. God knows this is the way, given circumstances of the past year, that you can actually make your voice be heard. So if you haven't done so already, remember that voting is not just a right, it is a privilege and a duty. And it is the only way that we can actually make our voices be heard in significant ways that matter. So now's the time. Go do it and vote, because the time has come. With that said, though, I am going to have us vote for gameplay by unmuting myself so that they now hear that we're ready to go. And then I'm going to unmute, where are they? Them. And then I am going to go, dun, 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 dun. There we are. The crew is here. They have arrived. We are all present and accounted for. And hi, everyone. Welcome to the GOG team. And as always, I will introduce these wonderful people, starting with a person who is not at all sick, is completely healthy, has no problems at all, and has her PC backed up with power, has a perfect power backup system as well. All these things are true, right, Pyron? Is that true?
Yes, they are. Hello, I need to cough. This is horrible.
She didn't even get started. She's like, yes. It's like,
yeah, I'm fine.
I'm okay.
I'm sorry, people. I have a really bad cold. That's why I couldn't stream yesterday. But it's getting better. My cold is feeling fine. And yeah, I will try my very best to talk through this. And Ebenezer just brought me my dice back. I so would like to show you all my dice. I have wonderful dice. So many dice. Yes.
That is good stuff. How many dice do you have, approximately, would you guess?
I don't know, but I can count them.
The next 20 minutes. 10, 11.
Oh, I lost count. 1, 2.
we get done at like 2 minutes to 7. All right. So you're outside the city. Next time we'll do. Yes. So cool. So you've got your dice bag. You've got a cold. It's not the cold that has to feed fine. Yes. Yes.
And here's my new power supply unit, which will hopefully, if I build it in, it will stop my PC from stopping working, like it currently does sometimes. So if I'm gone, you know what happened, because I have a new power supply unit, but it's not in the PC.
Exactly.
You have to install that, right?
Right. She could have fixed it, is the point. Like that's really the key, is that she could have fixed it. And yes, Discord, I see it. I mean, Discord. Yes, Discord. I am yes X5. I see your Discord message. That's what I meant to say, and I will do that as soon as we're done with the introductions there. Well, it is a pleasure to have Pyron on board. Pyron, who are you playing today, by the way?
Oh, just like every time, I'm playing Rita Goldenfire, a dwarven cleric of Foltus. May his light shine on your way, and I'm here to support my group and lead them through their adventures, heal them when they break up, down or
Which
in
never
pieces.
happens. Ever, no.
But as I apparently have not slept with this character for like 2 days, there might be a slight problem with that, but we're working on it. I'm pretty sure.
Good stuff. Hello, Giblix, and hello to everybody there. Moving right on down the line, we have the only person who I think is currently experiencing neither health nor tech problems, if I'm not mistaken, and that's Darksaber. What's up, man? How are you? Is that true? Are you experiencing any problems?
It's actually true. Yeah. For once in my 4 years of streaming, I have neither internet, tech, nor health problems.
Somewhere fate was just like, wait, what? Did you hear something? I don't know. There's a disturbance in the forest.
A part of my room's probably just caught fire and will gradually get worse.
Right, exactly.
Goes on.
That's funny. Cool. So everything has been going well. And by the way, I want to publicly congratulate you on your 4-year streamiversary. And so congratulations. And I know that you also finished a Mass Effect playthrough.
Yes.
Which is good because that game is awesome. So
it really is.
So welcome. And I'm glad that everything is going well on that score. And who are you playing, sir?
I will be once again slipping into the shoes of Selsig Mauer, provider of amoral support and financial services to the party.
Outstanding. I am excited to see how that progresses as time goes on. And that leads us, last but certainly not least, to a man who unfortunately is having maybe some tech and other problems, but we'll see. Mike, how are you? And assuming that we can keep this together, Screaming Joypad, how is life, sir? I mean, I don't know if you want to sum it up or, all that sort of thing.
So metaphorically, technically, and literally, I'm hanging on by a goddamn thread right now.
Jesus.
So my internet is not great. So apologies for this. My PC blew up. Like, not literally blew up. I'm over-exaggerating that very slightly. But basically, Sandy, the rig that you all know and love, is not responding to CPR right now. So I've got the emergency unit out. I've got my work laptop. I've managed to hook everything up. Thank God that the camera doesn't stretch any further than it does, because quite frankly, everything else is just wires. Slowly but surely, it's going to turn into that scene out of Superman 2 where I just get consumed by all the cables. But yeah, other than that, I'm good. I'm excited to play D&D. I feel D&D dry, to be perfectly honest, because it feels like a really long time since we played, and I'm just excited to get back in. Now, because I can't really use chat, I daren't use chat to actually talk to people. All I'm going to request is people, as always, show me your blood trails. That's all I'm going to ask, okay, as I show this on screen. So this is me interacting with chat, right? You know what to do. Let's get it done.
Where are those blood trails at, people? Actually, wait, it's Blood Trail. Saber starts out with...
Blood Trail.
Saber's like, aha, trails. Oh, wait, there we go.
Yeah, that was go. I was trying to find our quest log.
That was more of a fail on my part because I've not been on Twitch for so goddamn long. Hi, Twitch.
You're like, so, Twatch.
This new Twitch.com. Don't go to Twitch.com, by the way. It's completely different.
Kippa, am I right? How about that? Hello, look at that. Hey, there they go. There are all the blood trails at. That's what I'm talking about.
75.
Good stuff. I love it. 75.
75.
75 what?
Dice.
Oh, I was like, viewers, blood trails, like what?
And 1 coin.
And 1 coin, outstanding. That is good. I think that this is my dice bag, and I'm not going to count it now, but I'm pretty sure that there's more in there than that. But see, mine is about quality. So I have the original red box dice with the white chalk, use the white crayon to fill in the numbers, from vintage 1984. So I figure like that. Plus I got glow in the dark dice. I've got my clear dice, and I've got these blue dice. So I've got that's about that. Yeah. 75 dice, man.
That's a Blood Bowl dice.
That's an original old Blood Bowl dice.
Wow, nice.
Wow.
I haven't seen one of those in years.
Yes.
Nice.
They are not
Sorry,
easy
I have to
to come
interrupt just
by.
1 second.
Sure.
If everyone can still hear me?
Yes.
Every single person in chat who just put a blood trail in there. So I'm talking to you, Christensen, Resident Drifter, Darksaber2K, Merc, Bone, Moriana, Terry Tunes, I love you. Diginferno, every single one of you gets a kiss. Come here. There you go. You all get a kiss. I love you all.
You have all been kissed. They're all sort of.
I'm kissed.
We're waiting for like chat delay. All of a sudden it's just silent.
Yeah.
Why are we down to 10 viewers? I don't. It's like I was horribly offended that you decided. Okay.
Triggered.
Exactly. Well, it is a pleasure to have you on board. It is a pleasure to have you on board. Like talking about a good old wine. That's it. 8-bit. That's it, Chris. That's exactly right, man. Welcome. Well, it is a pleasure to have you on board. And Mike, you are playing whom today?
Oh, yes, that bit too. Yeah, so I'm playing Ura Ash, the half-orc barbarian who had a bit of a brush with death recently and is trying to reevaluate whether or not he should potentially do very dangerous things like throwing himself off of towers and hurling himself into ogre fights.
Yes, that's pretty much exactly right. And so it is Rethics. There you go. Everyone is just like, I approve of this. Yes, exactly. You arrive, and then that's it. Thank you, Miranda. Thank you. Well, it is a pleasure to have the three of you, as always, with us as we continue with Storm King's Thunder. I do want to read the introduction and then close out Discord so that I can get rid of the Discord notifications and turn on Firefox's volume so we can hear all the lovely music and stuff. But X5, and by the way, it is X5's birthday. So if I could get some happy birthdays for X5 in chat, that would be lovely. He says, define those travels as you can, and as it is yet the 101st episode, it's a special day. It is X5's birthday. Chapter number 26 is over. Chapter 27 begins. Aha. But so does the D&D, as it is time to continue the adventures of the three adventurers. Pyron Jade is the pyro cleric Greta Goldenfire, a fiery dwarfess with the light upon her. Darksaber 2K as the shady and sneaky halfling Cel Sigmar, and the joypad that cannot stop screaming, aka Screaming Joypad, as the big guy who's all tucked up for the ball, aka Urash. Yes, he is on for the ball. That's true. Their adventure has been put off the road for far too long, and so it must continue, but the streamer introduction may be short. Yet I will say a few words. I have long been part of the audience that's watched lots of good streams at GOG.com and GOG's lovely streamers. I take pride in saying it has brought such lovely entertainment and great reviews to games. I speak to people which are not of my own country, yet are lovely and kind. It is not something one would say about foreigners he or she does not know, but I take a chance on doing so because GOG.com has nothing but genuine love, interest, and care for its viewers, and wanting them to have a great time watching the stream or experiencing the games they have to sell. We all live in times of evil and good, and this will always be so, but we all must press on to live our lives as we see fit. I hope for many weeks, days, and hours of more good fun and entertainment from GOG.com and its wonderful stream team, all from different nations but live on one planet, and as we have so much racism, we are one race. We are humans, flaws, and errors, but must take care and be there for each other to help each other no matter what. I can keep on going with this, but it is time for you, I think that's me, Arvin Elrond, to be the storyteller. I wish for everyone to have a great day, week, month, and year still. Keep fighting for what you believe in and what you want. Every single day is special, forgives us today to be with family and friends, and so I give away to Arvin Elrond, Pyron J, Darksaber, and Screaming Joypad, only a fraction of the great GOG stream team. God bless you all, in parentheses, even if you're an atheist. Take good care, stay kind-hearted, stay lovely, stay hyped, all kinds of hype, stay awesome, stay safe. I, Echo Alpha X5, give thanks to all for the happy birthdays. Yet again, as Albert Pike once wrote, what we do for ourselves dies with us, what we do for others in the world remains and is immortal. Thank you very much, X5, and again, happy birthday, sir.
Well said.
All well done sentiments.
Just,
that was good stuff.
Can you hear me? I've just had a mic issue.
Yes, we can hear you.
Now
Okay,
we can
good,
hear
good.
you.
Okay, I had a pop-up saying my mic had disappeared because I caught the cable. Okay, we're good.
Yes. So
awesome.
we are, so good stuff. So thanks, X5. I appreciate that. Happy birthday. And yes,
Happy
all right.
birthday.
Let us get our music underway and our sound and such. Medieval Town, although not for much longer, as we will discuss. And where's my
Get this Mass Effect music out of my head.
There we go. Okay, folks. So here we go. Here is the basically the story so far. I will sum up just the very last parts of it. For those of you who are curious, if you go back a few episodes, you'll be able to. The last time that we played D&D, you will see that we posted a video done by the incomparable Screaming Joypad, which was the story so far up to that point. The last couple of sessions, for various reasons, including an exploded computer, he hasn't been able to do one for the last stories, but that at some point he'll be able to. That will change. That will change. I promise. At some point in the future, but in the meantime, I can say that since these folks got to Bryn Shander using a floating castle run by Zephyros, not Sephiroth, not that, but Zephyros, they have been engaged in a lot of things in this city. First of all, the city came under attack by frost giants. They managed to repel repel that attack, although they took some injuries in the process. They then had a chance to sort of explore around the city and get a sense of what they ought to do next, because there are sort of multiple clues that they need to find out about what is happening regarding the giants. They do know that the giants as a whole, the king of the giants, the lord of the giants, has apparently gone missing, or at least that's the rumor. And so the ordning, the order in which the giants sort of keep their hierarchy maintained, has been broken down. And so it's kind of chaos, is basically the way to put it. And so they need to figure out details about how they can track down more information. And the way to do that, of course, is to start following leads. So they have a number of leads and a number of quests that have been given to them. I'd like you now to think about The Witcher 3 and imagine a bunch of question marks on your map chat, and you'll know what I'm talking about. That's basically what we've got here. They were asked by bounty hunters. They were asked, who were working for a particular city, asked them to find out information about a character known as the Weevil. The Weevil, who was this criminal that apparently made off with something that was valuable to a particular city, and that they approached Urash and Selsig in a tavern and basically told them that they'd like them to do this and offered them a substantial gold reward if they could do it. That's just one quest. There is a quest that was suggested to them by going to Waterdeep to attend the ring, to try to find this details about the Ring of Winter, because the giants that attacked Bryn Shander were looking for the Ring of Winter, this very powerful artifact of some kind. And they found out, according to a person that they found inside the city, who was allegedly the son of the owner of this ring, a guy named Artis Cimber, that the last time he had been seen was in Waterdeep, and was under the care of a lord known as Lord Roaringhorn. And there's supposed to be a great ball of enormous significance that is going to be held, and so they have suggested that the party go and attend this ball. In fact, Urash got all tricked out. The rest of them did too, of course, but Urash, most notably, just because of his normal demeanor, is not really tuxedo quality is normally not what you think of with him, but he managed to get basically kitted out and ready to go to this ball. So that's a second quest. They have another quest as well, which is that they were asked by Augric Brighthelm to help her people, the dwarves. That was another suggestion that was made. Augric Brighthelm, you might remember, was the deputy sheriff, basically, and it was asked, she asked the party to be able to help her people. And it was also asked by Markham Southwell, who is the actual sheriff of the town, to try to track down the further frost giants that had attacked the city. So basically to go after them and try to find out more details about why they attacked and possibly disrupt any further raids that might be happening on the city of Bryn Shander. And as they prepared to leave the city, they heard this basically these, I believe it was, I don't remember if I actually said drums or bells. I don't recall if it was drums or bells. Did I say bells
It was just
or
like
drums?
a
Drums.
It was,
Or
like
it was a tinging sound, right? Was it like a dong
it
dong
was,
type
it was
of
the
thing?
forges.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, that's what I figured. So it was the sound of the forges that was coming off to the east. So these folks decided that they would set off in that direction first, hopefully to try to, do what Markham Southwell had recommended, and then continue along east to try to get to the place where Weevil might be found, so they can further that quest, and then follow that all the way down to Waterdeep, where they can attend this grand ball. So that's the plan. We'll see if that's how they maintain it, or if life and circumstances takes them elsewhere, but that is basically the idea. So that's what we've got. And with all of those incredible amounts of dice thrown on the screen, but only a fraction of Pyron Jade 75 dice, I now hand things over to the party. All right, guys, it's up to you.
Right, yeah. So back up to speed. Just going through the quest notes quickly as well.
Yep.
Yeah, me too. I'm trying to find them real quick.
Did I miss any quests for you? I think I nailed all the ones that
You've
were
hit
there.
most of them.
Okay.
Oh, I think so.
I
We
don't
just-
remember the one with the dwarves.
That happened only at the very beginning, and it was not very fleshed out because you guys were occupied with other things. So it was just a sort of suggestion about going to meet with the dwarves, but you actually didn't find information about what dwarves and where. So
Man, I keep really good notes.
Yeah.
I'm going to copy those off Discord.
So we handed off the little girl, right? That is all done.
That's taken
We
care
were
that was taken care of.
We ended leaving the city basically.
That's right. That's right. And you were actually, in fact, I can probably bring you guys over at this point too.
We'd gathered our party and ventured forth.
Schedule a party
Indeed.
before venturing forth.
Yeah, look, there's a.
So,
There we are.
so we kind of know where the giants,
Titans.
giants kind of are. So I don't know what the actual plan. I remember the subquest, but I don't remember what our actual plan was. I know we were going to go to Waterdeep. I know we were going to try and find the Weevil on the way to Waterdeep, and we we're going to take the long road. I want to say the safe road.
Yeah, we were going to take the green line.
If you look at that map that I just posted, you can actually see the path that you guys directed for yourselves. So the plan was to go from Bryn Shander to the east and then go following that green line down and over and then down again, basically, and then on down that long road through Tribor, Westbridge, Red Larch, and finally to Waterdeep. The banquet, this ball, is a couple of weeks away, so you don't have tons of extra time, but you do have some extra time. It's about, I think what I said was 17 days, something like that. So you will need to, obviously, you won't be able to make it by foot. You'll have to ride for part of the time, but presumably you'll be able to do that. So.
Yeah, and if we found the Weevil, we had whatever he had. I forgot what it was. We have to take it back to somewhere to.
Mirabar, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, something like that.
Correct, which theoretically is right near. You actually see that city Mirabar right here where I just pinged, and to the south of that is actually where the where supposedly he might be found. Somewhere on the road south of Mirabar, between Mirabar and Longsaddle, is where he was spotted supposedly. So that's the clue that you got.
That was our plan. So our plan was to go through the mountains because we thought we might find the forge, which we are apparently doing.
I think we were going to try and find the giant stronghold, but I don't know if we'd figured out what we were going to do if we found it.
I think we had the plan of reporting back to Bryn Shander in some way.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, but the only places we can do that, there are only a couple of spots we can actually send messages from. Like if we're going, there's only a few places that have Raven communication, so to speak.
Yeah, I think Mirabar might have been the nearest place, or Longsaddle maybe.
Neverwinter, and I think that might have been it. Arv will probably be able to correct me on that one.
Okay, hold on a second. I will be able to tell you in just a second.
Okay. So they wanted the Neremos and Saw Lisa, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, wanted us to find the Weevil. Did they want him, or rather, did they want the Weevil, or did they just want the item that the Weevil has?
They only want the item, I think.
Okay.
Right. They preferred, I think the theory was they preferred him alive, but they, if they get him dead, they get him dead.
Okay.
All right.
No, the reason they wanted us after him was because he'd taken an item, but we were going after the Weevil specifically, I think. And he also had a tie to the Ring of Winter, was it?
Yes.
Yes, they name dropped that as something he might be able to help us with.
Objective. Fine.
There we go.
I really, really think we should sleep at some point in time.
I feel great.
We've only just gone up.
Yeah, one quick note actually. It was not that long, Greta, since you've been up for a while, but it's not like you've been up for 48 hours. I mean, you did sleep the night before you went off and found the woman. You may remember the mysterious woman, Beldora, I believe her name was, and you encountered her, and you did all that stuff. And I'm pretty sure that was the deal. You did manage, I think, to sleep in between that because Urash has gotten rest. I know.
Urash was knocked out, and that's why he got rest because he was in the healer.
Well, but he didn't wake up an hour later, though.
That's very.
I got like, if my notes are right, I got 5 hours of sleep.
Ah, okay, fair enough.
In the last 48 hours, so I'm a bit cranky right now.
You're fine.
I'm fine.
You can sleep on the horse; it'll be fine.
Sure, exactly.
the amazing.
I've got a pony.
Horse.
I've got a pony.
You got a very thin pony. Oh, I remember you needed you specifically wanted a pony, didn't you? Yeah, we got your pony.
I got a pony.
Then you and Urash have to share it because I've claimed the draft horse for myself.
Fine, that's fine. I'll just walk. If you start to canter, I'm just going to hop on the horse for Celso. It's fine.
Blackbird Twitch and chat asks, is it possible to pray to the Dungeon Master? No, it's not. But from personal experience, I can say if you're playing with somebody in real life, bring food. It's always good to bring food.
I have to say, I was bribed in person by Elizabeth Vaughn, who is a USA Today best-selling author, was playing in the game that I ran at Gen Con this past August called Night of the Forbidden Library. And she was like, and so I was like, and you get hit by this thing. And she was like, do I, Greg? Do I really? And she brings out this bag of huge Kit Kats. And she's like, so she like tosses a couple and I'm like, that was delicious. Thank you. And you do get hit by it. She's like, God damn it. Like it was really pretty funny. But it was great and everybody laughed, especially once she was recovered after not being harmed.
I usually bring homemade pizza rolls.
That's pretty good. I would not deny that. That would be pretty good. So yes, so those things are always possible. All right, let's see. So we'll get that there. We got that for the extra thing, and we'll get some music coming up here. Alrighty. So right. So now I'm sorry, Mike. You asked me about. You had a question about like something you needed me to confirm. Is that?
Maybe. Oh, the towns. Them towns with them ravens.
Town with the
the
Yes.
towns with raven communication. So which towns? There we go. See, you're on board now.
Yes.
Which towns can we send messages to and from? I believe it was Mirabar, Neverwinter, but possibly another one, and Waterdeep.
Yes.
In this
just one moment, as I had that panic moment I used to get in high school when I was taking a physics exam, and which I managed to get a D+ in basically my entire life. And I had that panic moment where I understand none of the words here. They're all English words.
Just like I
but
know
they just
all
don't.
of those words separately.
I know they exactly, but in this pattern they don't really make any sense.
I've forgotten how to words.
Yeah, exactly.
So you got a D- in physics. So you have a basic understanding of how it works. Like
Do I?
That's about it.
I have a basic understanding of how to use basic intelligence to get past not knowing a whole lot. Math and science was not my bag. Not my bag.
Yeah, it wasn't mine.
Oh man, I took biology for non-majors freshman year of college, got a B-. I'm like, thank you. Never took a science class again. I'm like, I'm out. I am out. Okay. Let me find that particular quest that is here, which I know is here someplace. And again, I apologize, chat, but as I said, I was in the midst of a bunch of stuff today, and so just give me a second.
Okay, so
you guys talk amongst yourselves. I'll figure it out in a second.
yeah. So if we're able to, we are definitely 110% going down to Waterdeep. We're all good with that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're going to try and find this keep. Sorry, Perrin.
And I recall us all agreeing that the Weevil was a top priority and it was the greater good to go after him.
Yeah, the 5,000 gold had
Yeah.
nothing to do with it.
Ah.
Oh, I remember what it was. Yes, there are some of the main cities that have Raven contacts are Luskan, Mirabar, Neverwinter, and Waterdeep. Basically, the huge cities. So those have kind of a network of Ravens that go in and amongst the various cities and from place to place. So if you were to find this one, you could, once you get to Waterdeep, seek out, the Raven messenger, basically, and then send it back rather than having to go to Mirabar, go south, backtrack to Mirabar, and then go south.
Yeah.
again.
It's
So-
Depending
everything
on
on
when we find the
River
Weevil, we could even
and
cut through to Neverwinter, through the Neverwinter Wood, depending on where we encounter the Weevil. We do.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah,
Although the
if
Neverwinter
you
Wood
find-
is not an easy
Right.
hike, but you could do that. Yes, that is a possibility. This is a very open area. I mean, like you guys have your choice as to where you want to go, and
Yeah.
we have a lot of areas covered. Like
Because then it's like Neverwinter, we might be able to get a boat to Waterdeep or this
Yeah, that's true.
I think, but right now we're on our ponies in the mountains and on our way to have a look at that fort, right?
Have you named your pony?
No.
Bill.
oh man. So yes, you are correct.
I'm gonna have to take like a 3-day break from writing any fantasy just because I just shamed myself. Sorry.
His name is Bill.
Bill.
Oh.
His Bill.
Why,
that
is there a
difference
famous
point.
pony called Bill?
Yes, there might
Yeah.
be, and a certain person with the initials JRRT might have written about Bill the pony. Oh my Bill.
Never.
All right. So,
I don't know Will the pony.
quick. Yeah, it really was.
Bravest pony in all the Shire.
It was. That's exactly right. And he actually escapes. He escapes from right outside of Moria. And they were afraid that they were going to lose him.
And gets back.
That's true. And he does. He survives somehow.
They
He has happily ever after and everything.
Previously belonged to Bill Fernie of Bree. How much other trivia do you want? I got it. Forget D&D. Let's just talk trivia of Tolkien for the next 3 hours. Oh, man. Okay.
I have not read a single Tolkien book nor watched the movies. I'm sorry.
I know.
Well,
It's
Bill's the lead character.
your loss. That's all I can say about that. Your loss. Okay. Yes. So this I should say that this, as I said, this map is sort of open to you guys.
Yeah.
And you have a different sort of options in terms of where you want to go. And I'm actually pulling up.
I think in the immediacy, heading east, searching for and seeing if we come across this giant stronghold is probably like in the immediate. That's what we're going to be doing.
Got
right?
it.
Yes,
Yep.
that sounds good.
So when you guys set out to the east, one of the things that I was trying to remember before, this area right about here is where there is a sort of kind of a valley almost, you might say. It's basically where the hills are lower. And Bryn Shander is in one of those foothills to the west. And as you go over, you have the spine of the world here, these very tall mountains to the east. To the west, you have the mountains that separate Bryn Shander from Icewind Dale from the endless ice sea and the sea of moving ice, which is over here to the left. And so as you set out to the east, there are more of these hills like up and that sort of, wave up and down. It's not incredibly difficult travel, but it is cold and it is, of course, not particularly hospitable. And there is always this sound of this sort of banging sound that you can hear from a distance, very faintly, but getting louder as you come closer, of what sounds like that sound you hear in Roll20, the sound of forges, more than one probably actually, ringing out as you continue to the east. And after about 6 hours or so, you set out sometime midday. So as it's evening, and of course it is now. What?
Wait. It was like early morning.
We did set out when it was dark because we kind of panicked at the sound of the hammers.
Yes.
We're like, we should go
It was
now.
like 5 a.m. or something.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I forgot it was that early. So in that case, more like midday. So I take that back. So midday, with this sort of, but again, it is not particularly light though. It is of course late fall, not unlike it is right now, or kind of middle of the fall, I guess. And so it gets darker earlier. It's obviously still light now, but it's not blazing bright. You sort of have been traveling under a dull, gray, overcast sky as you went. And one of the things that strikes you is that there's very little in the way of animal life around you. You don't see a whole lot of birds flying, white foxes darting from tree to tree, rabbits skirting by. You don't see much of that. You do see an occasional something moving in the distance. A couple of birds fly overhead here and there, but it's not what you would say is sort of extensive sort of life that you might expect to see, although it is obviously it's pretty far north up here. But even so, it still seems a little bit odd to you. And as you draw closer to the sound of the hammering, those animals, even the sights of the animals that you did see, die out entirely, so that at the end you don't have a lot of animal creatures at all that you see. It's just sort of you and the wilderness, essentially. And as you cross one rise, the sound of the forges growing ever louder and louder, you see down into the middle of this valley what looks like an encampment is basically the way that it looks like to you, but it's a large encampment. There are lots and lots of these basically what look like massive tents that are set up sort of ringing the outside of this relatively flat area below the level of the hills. And you see from the middle of those, you see 3 great forges. And when I say great, I don't mean, boy, those are awesome. I mean, they're huge forges, in front of which there are 3 of them. And there are 2 large giants, blue-skinned, clearly frost giants, that are working away, hammering away at the forges. And behind them, you sort of see these forges. And behind them, you see a whole set of giants that are kind of milling about. Some seem to be talking to each other. Some seem to be in some kind of guard, although they're not really like, there's no advanced guards. They're not like up on the hills looking out for people. They seem to be just down around the area that I mentioned. But there are a few guards in particular that are standing near what looks like a fairly large seat or chair. You're too far away to tell for sure. And sitting in it is a giant. And the giant occasionally barks out orders. You can't hear what he's saying, you're too far away, but barks out orders, and there's like a flurry of activity as things move around the camp, and then things settle down again. So there's that. The other thing is that you see on one side of the camp, you see what looks like a large, glittering pile of something. You don't know what, you're too far away to tell, but it's a glittering pile of something.
Calm down, Celsic.
Yeah, I mean, it could be giant feces, Celsic. You have no idea whether, what glittering it is. I'm just
I
letting
wasn't
you know.
planning to dive in it. It's all right.
Yeah, you're not diving into this particular.
I'm never diving in anything ever again after that incident.
Your large humanoid waste.
Exactly. That's what you see.
Okay.
Goodness
Wow.
me, my backside hurts. We've been
You're-
riding for 7
you're-
hours now.
Yep.
Well, you should have walked like me then, shouldn't you?
No.
So, I don't really fancy picking a fight with anyone. Like, I don't know how productive that's going to be.
How many are
Wait.
down there?
We don't exactly have a tower to drop on their head this time.
No, exactly.
Your estimate would be probably 15, 20. Is a good,
Can I take a closer look at
good number of
one
giants.
shouting orders?
I'm sorry, say again?
Can I take a closer look at the one shouting orders?
You can try, yes.
Like
Um, Well, so you're not going to be, you'd have to, first of all, where you are, you're somewhat still obscured by the side of the hill on which you stand, on which your horse is standing. If you wanted, you could dismount and try to sort of sneak down the slope to get a better look. But from where you are, you can't tell a whole lot about him, except for the fact that he or she is sitting in this this chair of some kind. It looks like there might be some skins or something draped on the back, but it's hard to tell from this distance. But it is a large seat in which he's sitting, as I said, barking these orders. And there are a set of what, maybe it's an honor guard or something, 3 or 4 giants that are standing right near them. All of them that you can see look to be the same kind of blue-skinned, so it looks like mostly frost giants, maybe all frost giants here.
Okay, so total, how many giants can I see at the minute?
Probably, again, there's sort of movement around, so you cannot be 100% sure, but somewhere between 15 and 20. A good number of giants.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to pick.
3
a
of
fight.
them
I also-
occupied hammering away at the forge.
Yeah, I
There
also
is-
don't want to do anything that will bring their attention to us.
There is not like I don't know, like a huge mountainside looming over the camp that looks like it might be a bit brittle or something.
Are there any red barrels we could shoot?
Yes, exactly. You're not sure about the red barrels part. There are definitely barrels and storage devices, but nothing with a big red, double red X, or whatever.
Big red, red with a big flame on it. nothing
Right,
like
exactly. Like, caution
Dang.
written in giant or something. But as far as being near things, so there's nothing like right above it. There's not a, conveniently placed rock. You are in an area where if there were enough rocks and stones and things like that, which roll down, you could create, like, it would definitely, at least at the fringes of the camp, affect them standing on the outside. Because the edges of the camp are pretty close to the kind of end of the curvature of where the hills become the ground. But there's nothing where you could like chuck a rock and, have it like land right on top of them. That they don't seem to be that close to any overhangs. No.
I think we could have a minor rock slide maybe, but we could never destroy the whole camp in one. So I'd say.
Is there any way we could destroy the forges? Is there any anything that would be positioned near it to cause an avalanche on the forges?
Can't tell unless you get closer.
Okay. So I pose the same question to my team.
I look to Celsic.
Knew you would. I knew this was going.
You're the quiet one.
Yeah, I also like my skin firmly attached to my body.
If I could get some rest, I might be able to cause an explosion in one of the forges if we get close enough that I could throw something at them, or one of you throw something at them.
You could set it up and I could go plant the C4.
Something like that.
You just want to play Metal Gear Phantom Pain, Saber, in D&D. That's what you want.
I had that idea the second I realized that Greta had the ability to make things explode.
Can you put balloons on them and extract them? That'd be great.
Beep, 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 beep.
Exactly. So I'd like all of you to make perception checks for me, please.
Okie dokie.
Okay.
First roll of the day.
Ooh.
All right,
I'll
you
take
see
that.
all.
That-
Wow,
I'll
you
take
guys
that.
are staring right at it. I guess that's what happens when you're like, I see all. And what about you, Greta?
I don't know.
Wow. Okay. All things are heard. Okay. The whole thing just becomes transparent, and you can see the inside of it. No.
I have
that's
an
not the case.
epiphany. An epiphany concerning the camp.
Exactly. Light just pours from your face. Ah! You know.
I see it all.
So no. Actually, what you guys hear is this. You hear what sounds like a growling noise not far from you.
Okay, I take the things, the steering strings of my pony, however they're called in English. Reins.
Brain.
Steering strings. That's the best. Forward, animal. What? The steering strings.
I'm pulling the steering strings and nothing's happening.
Oh, that's
It's
awesome.
acting on walkie stumps.
So you
I
grab the
remember
reins.
It's called reins.
You grab the reins. That's the best. Okay.
And I hear, and I look at the others. Like I hear like a growling sound, like a
Yep,
big
we gotta
animal,
go.
like a
We gotta
bear or something that starts with,
Coming
I don't
from your
know.
left, it sounds like, and it seems to be getting louder.
I assume we all hear this, right?
Yes, all of you hear it. And there's also what sounds like perhaps footsteps behind
Go,
that.
go, we're out, go.
Okay,
Yeah, back off, back off.
hide.
Okay.
Hide. Well, how'd you hide a horse? we can't just
I've
put
got a
lampshade
little
on it.
pony. I can hide my pony somewhere in a bush or something.
There are bushes and trees. Where do you guys want to try to hide things if you're going to hide?
I will go into a bush.
Didn't want to hide. I'm a runner, not a hider.
Or if there's a cave, I will go into a cave or behind a huge rock.
Okay.
Yeah, I think something bushy. But I've got a draft horse. They're not small.
Make perception. So make another perception check for me, all of you. Let's see if you can find any of these hiding places that that you claim exist.
Uh-oh.
All of
That's
them.
like
No,
So Celsic, you're like, where? There's a bush. There is a bush. There's a rock. There's a small rock. Greta's like, I found another small rock. If we take two small rocks, we can cover ourselves. And Urash is like, small rock. So you guys start running around frantically. Celsig finally finds a bush that seems like it might conceal some of you. The noise is now as it's and you hear steps and you hear sort of a muffled, it's like something talking. It sounds like it's coming from just maybe 100 feet away from the other side of a hill you can't see.
How much
Oh,
are 100 feet?
I was going to say, if it was a giant, wouldn't we actually be seeing it if it's this close?
Not yet.
Right.
How much are 100 feet?
100 B. Oh God, in meters.
3
Google,
feet.
help me. I don't remember. I just did this for
About
Terry earlier today.
Hello,
30
Alexa.
meters, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about 3 feet to a meter.
Okay. I will try to find out what it sounds like. Can I make like a nature check or something like that?
Yes. Go ahead and make a nature check for me. Yeah, the stealth
Whatever
level.
this is going to smell.
It's a thing. It's
You're like-
most likely. It's most likely thing that starts with dire.
It's a living growling thing.
Yeah.
Definitely a living growling thing.
Yes.
You've heard growls, Greta, and this is definitely that.
It's alive.
I'm trying to stuff my horse and myself
So
into the bush.
right, so here's the thing, Celsig. You can fit yourself in it, but your horse is literally so it's horse and then bush and then horse. Like the bush does not cover all of the horse. Urash is just sort of standing. What are you doing, Urash, during this time?
Worrying.
Okay.
I'm worrying. I don't want to leave my teammates, but I'm a natural sprinter. Okay. I'm looking for somewhere to duck and cover, preferably downwind. I don't want to be within I know whatever this is going to smell us, so I want to be somewhere low, somewhere covered.
Okay.
I clearly can't find that with a perception check of 9.
Right. There is however, what you do find are several soft drifts of snow.
I'll dive in. I will dive in as carefully as I can without making a big rush snow angel.
So you cover
It was the giant's latrine.
You cover yourself. No, you cover yourself over. Okay, I would like. Let's see. What am I? I'd like you to make a stealth check for me, please, Urash.
Of course.
Half-orc barbarian trying to throw snow over.
This may be a good time for me to remind the audience of the inspiration mechanic.
Yes, that is a good point. That's an excellent point. Thank you for bringing this up.
Thank you very
the
much.
inspiration mechanic is actually part of my channel. The way it works is that if you support the Patreon on my channel at the $10 or $20 amount, you actually get an inspiration which you can give to one of the party members if you wish to do so. Inspiration gives them advantage on these checks. So if you are already on my channel and already have that inspiration, you could use it here, and I will adjust it over on my channel at a later date. So you can do that if you wish. Otherwise, it's Screaming Joypad and a bunch of snow for the win. So let's see what happens here.
We'll give it a minute if that's okay.
Yeah, we'll do that. As we're doing that, Greta, what are you doing while Celsig is trying to cover his horse somehow?
I just give up on life. And I looked at that, and I don't know what can I can take the steering strings and tie my pony to something.
Okay.
and just grab my new shield.
Okay.
With a strange name.
Goldilocks.
My Goldilocks shield.
Yep, Goldilocks.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think my weapon is still the weapon I always had, right? I didn't buy any new weapons.
I believe so.
I just bought a new shield, so I take out my, my crossbow seems to be a good thing, and
Okay.
I load it, and I just stand there and wait for the dire thing to come.
Okay.
And I will not laugh at Urash, whatever he's doing there.
So you are standing out more or less in the open, yes?
Yes, I will now stand in the open.
Celsig
I just give up on this. The bush is occupied by the draft house. The snow is occupied by the half orc. I just nope.
I'm trying to position the horse in the opposite direction of the
Okay.
side of the bush from the noise, and I'm in the bush itself.
Memories in 8-bits commenters just having stitches.
You need to go with the time and rename this inspiration man. Inspiring, call it loot box. Outstanding. Yes, I should totally call it loot box. It is a microtransaction, and if you do this now, you can broaden your experience.
So I'm gonna.
This moment brought to you by EA.
I'm gonna preempt my
Pity.
my stealth check right now. Oh, I'm flipped. I didn't realize I was flipped. That's weird. Okay.
Don't flip the audience.
Flip the audience. They're used to it. It's fine. So you want me to do a stealth check, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Stop putting it off.
Watch this be the best roll all night.
It's all right.
It's, so you
I didn't shout.
It's true. You didn't you're like, all right, guys. So you managed to cover yourself over enough where you think there is at least a thin layer of snow covering your limbs and so forth. You sort of sit as you breathe. You notice that the snow is kind of melting into your face a little bit. And you listen, of course, carefully. Now, you don't know so far about what Greta's doing. You just sort of dove in. Celsig, you are still furiously trying to get your pony covered, and the horse is like kind of whinnying and moving about. And Greta, you were able to see, since you're standing right out in the open, coming over the rise near you, not very far away, is a very large, what looks like probably not a frost giant. It looks more like maybe an ogre or a troll. It has grayish skin. It's shorter than a giant might be. And it comes over, and next to it is a white wolf. But it doesn't look like a dire wolf. It looks like a bright white wolf, like the kind that you saw that attacked the city of Bryn Shander. You may remember there were a couple of these wolves that went with them. That's what this looks like. And when it sees you, it's actually held by a chain that is being held by this ogre thing, which is wearing thick furs, by the way, and has a a wartish, brutish nose and skin, sort of a brutish expression on its face. And as it sees you, it sort of stops, and the wolf growls and lunges towards you, Greta. But the ogre pulls it back and says, "Oi! What?
I also say,
Or are
"Oi!
you? Or are
Hi.
you?
I'm Greta. Who are you?"
I asked the questions here. What are you doing? This is territory that ain't yours."
Oh my god, I'm not taking any territory. I'm hunting.
And he looks around, and then he sees the horse. He doesn't see Selsig, and he says, "Is that your horse?"
No, the little one is my
Nay.
horse.
And he says, "Why do you have two horses?"
Is there another one? I look around.
He stares right at the thing, and then the wolf sort of growls and with its hackles are up and points its snout directly at the horse that is currently halfway in between the bushes.
Can I try and throw my voice to make it sound like the horse is talking?
If you want.
I have a cantrip that might just work.
Okay.
Hang on, where's my cantrips? Where's my cantrips? Yes, this is gonna be glorious. Where's my spells? Where are we? Yes, minor illusion. Oops.
This is
Create a sound. Its volume can range from a whisper to a scream. It could be my voice, someone else's voice, a lion's roar.
Okay. What sound are you doing?
I'm going to just project a voice
lion's
coming
roar.
from the horse. Not a lion's roar. I'm just going to go.
a dragon roar. You've done that before.
So hopefully it now sounds like the horse is saying, "I go where I please. This little creature looked interesting, and I decided to follow her to see what she was up to."
I
So-
say, "Oh my god, it speaks," and take a few steps back from the horse.
So the ogre stares at you, Greta, and then stares at the horse, and then stares back at you.
I raise the crossbow. I raise the crossbow at the horse.
Selsig, make a deception check for me, please.
Not my greatest one, but ooh, okay.
Take that. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's see whether or not.
Not bad for someone with a -1 charisma buff, but it is one of my proficiencies.
Okay. So he looks at you and then he says, "Oh, you think it's dangerous then?"
I have no clue. I have not seen anything like this before. Have you?
No,
All
better
horses
kill
can
it.
be.
And he turns around and he looks like he's about to let the wolf go, at the horse. The horse is like,
Let me take my little one in safety first, please.
he says, "Well, what if it's catching? It might be speaking too." And he stares at your horse and he says, "You speak?" And he's clearly addressing your horse, Greta, not you.
So at this point, I'd like to try and throw my voice. No, I'm joking.
Now the snow starts talking.
I also go where I will. What's go? No. All right. So yeah, he seems to be addressing your horse, Greta, and he waits, and then.
I also.
Oh,
wait.
he's not talking. Maybe he doesn't want to admit that he knows. And he stares back at you.
I go to my horse and pet it. Good horse. And I look at him, but I really, really like my pony. Please let me take it. Don't you like your... I look at the wolf. Your woolly thing?
He looks down. He says, "Oh, him? Yeah, his name's Snow. I named him myself." And you can see that the wolf is all white, so it looks very
what is
fierce.
he? What kind of animal is he?
Well, you see, he's a wolf, and I found him myself as a pup, and I raised him myself. I take care of the animals in the camp, you see, and I raised him myself from a pup, and so we've been inseparable, like. Except sometimes he doesn't really he doesn't think before he bites. And the wolf is like, clearly. And sometimes he don't know any better. So that's what I say him. I say, you know nothing, Wolf Snow. And then I just stare at him.
I nod emphatically, like, yeah. And then I said, that's such a nice story.
And he smiles and nods, and he's kind of like, I think so. Hey, wait, though. And his expression changes.
Yes, please.
But you're not supposed to be here anyway.
Yeah, then I would like to leave.
And he says, first, you got to explain why you're here. Besides hunting. You shouldn't be here hunting. And why do you have a talking horse? And why is there... And then he looks over and he sees this weirdly lumpy piece of snow. And he looks over and he's like, And then, Urash, you notice to your horror that you see that the light is starting to come through. And you don't know why. And then you realize that your breath has been melting the snow above you. So starting to kind of melt. And it's actually nice for a while. You're like, oh, this actually tastes pretty good. And they're like, wait. And so they're like, air is starting to filter through. And he says, And he kind of stares around. And he looks back at, he looks down at his wolf. He looks down at Snow. And he says, I don't know. What you think, Snow? And Snow looks up at him. Grrr. Snow seems to have one gear, and it's growl. That's pretty much his entire gear. And he says, yeah, I think you're probably right, too. He says, you'll have to come with me down to the camp and explain yourself. Yeah, you and, I don't know, the talking horse. And he looks back.
But what if the talking horse infects the other animals in the camp?
And he stops. He goes, Make a deception check for me, Greta.
I really want to throw my voice at the wolf right now. Womp, womp.
He's like, I don't think that's going to happen. I think he only infects one at a time. Your horse probably isn't even a talking horse. Yeah,
May I be very, very honest with you?
Okay. I kind of want you to be from the beginning, so...
Yeah, but I just came here and I saw that camp and I wanted to run away because these people down there, they don't look like they like dwarves and I'm afraid they might hurt me.
You're right about that.
No!
If they found you, they'd have you done for, I'll say. Dwarves and giants don't get along. They've said that after they finish with Bryn Chander, your people gonna be next. It should be a good time, although I hope none of my wolves get hurt. Right, Snow? Snow. Grrr. Yeah, I have a lot more of them, you know. I was going to check on them. You're not very far, actually, from the pen that I keep them in. And as if in answer, he looks at Snow. He says, go on, call him, Snow. And Snow goes, oh. And then you hear the returning call of, oh, there must be 50 if there's one. There's a huge sound across the other side of the hill of wolves howling. He says, right, there are the lads.
My goodness, did you raise them all yourself?
Yes, I did. And when I release them all, they'll be quite something. You wouldn't want to be on the other end of that, you wouldn't.
No, I would not.
You and your talking
totally
horse
would not.
that doesn't talk.
It's not, my pony does not talk. My pony is a good pony.
All right, maybe. I don't know whether I believe it, but we'll find out. You'll have to talk to Chillock down there.
And I don't want to.
Well, unfortunately, you don't have a choice. And he turns around and he prepares to turn around and he says, I understand you're scared. I'm sure I would be too. But after you first bite, you don't really notice anything. You'll already be off to, where do you go? The halls of your fathers, I think. I remember some saying. You'll go meet the ancestors soon.
I don't want to.
And he sort of shakes his head and he says, well, unfortunately, you don't have a choice. Or I could just let Snow tear your face off.
Yeah, but then I would try to fight back, and then Snow would maybe get hurt. And that
what? Are you threatening Snow? And he kind of turns around.
No, you're threatening me. And you know what? And in the end, we both are sad. I'm dead and sad, and your wolf is hurt, and then you're also sad. This is not working out well.
And
Can I attempt to use
Go ahead,
minor
Celsi.
illusion snow at this point?
Sure. What are you doing, Celsi?
I want to try and throw my voice again.
Okay. So what are you going to say?
I'm going to attempt to say, she speaks sense,
Okay.
and make it sound like it's coming from snow.
What is the voice that you're using? Is that the voice?
Uh,
Right,
how-
boss.
imagine-
Like I'm just curious about like what.
how I would imagine a wolf would sound if a wolf could talk.
How does that go?
All right, boss.
Okay.
Great, yes.
So he
She speaks
says. So he looks down. And he
Great,
goes,
boss.
"Oi, it's infecting you." And he looks back up at Greta, and his eyes are wide. He's like, "Oh, I don't know. Snow's never talked before." And Snow kind of is like, "Grrr," like his growl is changed to being somewhat curious, grrr, like confused. And he says, "Oh, Snow, it's all right, boy. We'll get you fixed up." And he sort of backs up a few steps. He says, "Look, you don't come any closer, and you don't go towards the pen, right? I'm just
Yes.
gonna go and take care of him, but I'm gonna come right back up here. So don't you leave. I'm gonna leave Snow behind." And Snow's like, and he pulls Snow sort of like practically has to drag him bodily out of the clearing, and then back over the hill. And as you see him running along, he's like, "Oi!" And you hear his voice reverberating down the hills. "Oi! There's a talking horse disease! Everyone get the animals to the caves! Talking horse disease! Talking horse disease!"
Could we just please be off, everyone? I jump on my pony and I take the reins. And
I emerge. We're out. On the door, we're done.
I'm out.
Running.
The forge sound falters for a minute, and you sort of hear the sound of you hear the sound of commotion down below.
yeah, come on, people, let's go.
Okay.
I cloppity clop away.
We're off. Yep. I run it. I run full belt.
Okay. So you guys are going now. This is important. Are you trying to skirt the camp and continue to go in the same direction, or do you want to sort of cut direct south? If you follow what I mean.
No, I want
I
to
don't
go.
wanna-
I want to go back to Rinchander. I want to tell them where the camp is, and then I want to be off.
Ah. Okay.
Okay. Is that what we're doing?
That would be the direction that I would do.
Only 6
Okay,
hours
cool.
out, so it's not a massive waste of time. It'd probably take
Okay.
us a lot longer to get to anywhere where we could send a raven.
That's cool. Well, I didn't know if we were going to send a messenger from Mirabar because we couldn't have sent anything from Mirabar to Bryn Shander. But
Would
yeah,
you
going
like-
back to Bryn Shander is a good idea.
We're only
Okay.
6 hours out. It makes more sense to go back
Yeah,
and
let's go.
report.
Okay.
Okay.
I am going to get on the horse.
Okay. So you actually are able to, and you're fortunate, Urash, in that your horse had started to wander off insofar as you hadn't actually done anything with it.
Well, I don't have a horse.
Oh, you were just running. Oh, that's right. You were running by yourself.
Yeah.
Never mind. So it's Greta and
We
Celsi.
only got 2 horses. We got 1 horse, 1 pony.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So you guys were able to, but I think you were on the back of the horse, or no? You were riding it though, still, Urash, or no? You were just next to
not
it.
Not on the way here.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So you were able to. So you're able to sort of get alongside the horse. Celsi, you extract yourself from your, in quotes, hiding place, and then jump on the horse and start heading back to the west. You do not hear, although you hear sort of the alarming sound of sort of yelling and shouting behind you at some distance, but that begins to fade away, and soon enough you have just what's left behind is just the sound of the forges, but now very distant again in the distance in the east as you continue back to Bryn Shander. Okay, so that is going to get you back to Bryn Shander at about 5 to 6 o'clock in the evening. So so that is going to get you back
I
there
will
about that
sleep tonight.
time. Okay.
I just want to all you people to let you know that I will sleep tonight.
You're just like, oh boy, I'm going to sleep tonight.
Time for sleep. Okay.
And I will also thank Foltos for our miraculous escape.
Should be thanking me.
Why you?
You technically don't know it was me. That's true.
Yes, of course I didn't know it was you.
Yes. Okay. So you guys return. Where do you go to when you get back to Bryn Shander? We're not going to do a whole big extensive because we just left
Markham
Bryn Shander
Southwell.
again. But say again.
Markham Southwell. He's
Ah,
the person
okay.
who asked us to find the giant stronghold to the east.
Okay. All right. What do you want to tell him, Urash?
There are at least 15 giants and potentially many white wolves.
That
there.
may or may
And
not be able to speak.
They may or may not be able to speak. There's at least we saw how many forges? Potentially 3.
3, that's correct.
3 forges, and from what we can tell, a cave system as well.
So he, you sort of tell him this, while Greta presumably is trying to get some sleep, and Selsig is working on his ventriloquism, I assume. But so you tell him this. He seems and says that he is most grateful to you. He might seem a trifle disappointed that you don't have any, dead heads of giants maybe that might have come with you. Disappointed not as in like you did a terrible job, but just disappointed like, oh crap, now what do I do? Is more what it seems like. As you're sort of discussing the situation from him, he shakes his head, his face is grave, and he says, I'm troubled. I suppose I shouldn't have been surprised, but this suggests that when they plan their next attack, they'll strike hard, and they'll strike for permanence. You said there was a pile of something, some glittering something or other?
Yeah, something shining. We couldn't make out what it was from our position.
And he sort of shakes his head. I don't know what that could be. Jewels, armor, weapons? Either way, if they have their forges with them, and 15 of them, well, that's enough that could do enough damage. There were 4 or 5 of them that attacked the first time. 15 or 20? And he shakes his head. He says, nonetheless, I appreciate the information. I suppose I would ask, if you get the opportunity, that you see what you can do about disrupting them further. Not now, if you have other things to do. But before you come back to us again, if you could disrupt them somehow, find some way that we would have a better method of protection than just these failing walls and our failing soldiery, that would be appreciated.
I nod.
Okay, and he sort of nods back to you and says, "I'll pass the word also to some of the merchants in town. If you need help from them, let them know that I've asked them to give it to you. You've done us a service here, and we appreciate it."
Okay, thank you.
Okay, meanwhile, Greta, you are sort of off to Dreamland, I assume, staying in the same... Are you going back to the Houses of Healing where Urash was, or do you want to stay in a tavern? Where do you want to be?
Where did I sleep last time? Wasn't it in the city hall?
I'm trying to remember if it was there, or if it might have been the house right next to it, wasn't it? Yeah. That we actually had you sleep in, so that's possible too.
Is it still available, or are there refugees in there right now?
You can, if you go to double check, you can see that there are actually refugees. It seems to have been repurposed for that goal. Level 5 is the answer to your question, Ravelon. So it does seem to have been repurposed, but it's possible that you could convince them to be shifted or moved if you wish.
Nah. I'll take a tavern then.
Okay. And Selsig, joke aside about the ventriloquism, what are you actually doing?
Hey, wait, I have things. There was a temple of Faltus here, if I remember correctly.
There is a general temple in Bryn Shander, I believe. There's a temple which sort of multi-purpose, interfaith. Basically, so there is one of those.
I have Shelter of the Faithful, so if I can, I would like to stay there, which would also be good, like for me personally as a cleric.
Okay, you can do that.
Okay, then I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna, have a moment for prayer, really like quiet moment, and have a good night of sleep in an environment that is like my environment. And yeah, I would like to do that then. Shelter of the Faithful.
Sounds good. Selsig, what about you?
I'm just going to rest, I think. Have a good meal and get some rest.
Okay.
I don't really have any priorities at the moment.
Okay. So you do that as well. It is going to be a gold piece if you're staying in the tavern that Greta is. But the gold piece is fairly expensive for tavern fare, and it means that you'll get a lot of good food and sort of the... like in Baldur's Gate, you get the nobles' quarters, right? Instead of the peasant quarters. Basically, that's what it is.
Looks for me.
And then, Urash, after you finish speaking with Markham Southwell, where then?
What time is it?
By this point, it's probably about 8 o'clock at night.
Okay, I'm going to go to the tavern, have some drinks, and then bed down for the night.
Okay, so same tavern as the rest of them, I assume.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just going to have some drinks first.
So it's about a gold for the lot of you, basically. So for the group of you, it would be a gold.
Wait.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm staying at the temple.
Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon. For you and Celsig, I'm sorry, that's right. Greta is staying at the temple, sorry.
Yeah.
I'll pay for a rush. So it's a gold for both of us or a gold each?
Gold for both of you.
Okay, yeah, I'll go with that.
Cool. Thanks, man.
All right, gold for both of you, and Greta, you, and then you were sleeping at the temple.
I will deduct some coins for the drinks as well.
I'll add it to your tally for the end of the adventure. I'll present the bill.
Your sleep this evening is not dreamless. Greta, you have the experience as you are sleeping of having this vision of what looks like perhaps a building, maybe it's a keep or a fort on the hill, and you see what looks like someone peering over the walls at you with an evil smile. It looks like it might be, you can't quite make it out, maybe a dwarf or a gnome or something like that, peering over the walls and cackling. And then you hear this roar and you turn around to see this massive giant that is looking at you. And then the dream, you wake up kind of in a cold sweat in the middle of your, in the middle of your church that you have bedded down for the night.
Never gonna get a good night's sleep.
But then you were able to go back to sleep, and you were not bothered again. But it is an unusual, sleep for you. The first part of it was unusual. This sort of vision that you had.
I'm going to pray about it in the morning.
Okay. Celsig, you also have a kind of a vision, or a dream, and for you, it is a dream of you wandering through this massive room of gold and jewels and loot, and you're looking for something among the gold and jewels, but you cannot remember what it is or why it is important, and that dream takes up much of your time. And Urash, you, in your dreams, have the memory, the sort of sound that you can still hear. Really, the sound of the forge is very, very distant, but in your mind it becomes louder, and you can see some great creature, possibly a giant, although its back is turned to you, hammering away at the forge, and the heat from the forge kind of warms your skin and, sort of almost it's almost too hot actually from where you are. It almost seems to scorch you, and then you see that he turns and looks at you, and it is the face of Zephyros, and then that vision vanishes, and your rest of your sleep is uninterrupted, and you all wake in the morning.
Cool. Nothing like a good haunting dream.
Mm-hmm.
I feel compelled to buy a bag. A big sack.
Okay. You are all awake. What do you want to do?
Cool. I'm gonna get some food in me and then pack up and get ready to go.
I'm gonna actually get a big sack because why not?
Okay. So you
You
get
never
a burlap cloth. What are we talking about? Are we talking about big burlap sack?
Something sturdy that can
Okay.
definitely take a lot of weight without much risk of carrying.
Okay. You can, so that sort of a big burlap sack would probably qualify. And you get
Yep.
one of those. And Greta, what about you?
I'll wait for the sun to come up, and then I'm going to pray to Faltus that he maybe can shed some light on my dreams.
Okay.
And after that, I'm gonna get my stuff and my pony and go to the tavern and meet the other guys, hopefully.
You feel the same kind of peace and calm that you usually do when you're praying to Faltus, but you don't necessarily get any guidance. Just sort of more a general sense of well-being, perhaps, but not anything that allows you to feel like, I get it. It means this. Like you don't get anything like that.
That is fine. God is not a shopkeeper. You don't put a prayer in and get an answer out.
True that.
So yeah, then I'll take my pony and go to the tavern and hopefully find the others there.
You do. You actually see both of them there. Urash looks a little bit troubled, perhaps, and Celsig is folding what looks like a massive burlap sack and trying to kind of fold it down to put it in his backpack.
Good morning. Did you
Morning.
sleep well?
I slept comparably well, but I have to say I was troubled by a dream I had. It was a very strange dream. I would like to share with you. I prayed about it in the morning, but so far nothing has become clearer. So maybe you, my friends, can help me.
That's interesting because I had a similar experience. What was your dream about?
Maybe Faltus is trying to guide us. I dreamt I was standing in front of a huge tower and somebody was peeking over the top of the tower with an evil smile on his face. And then there was a noise behind me and I turned around and there was a massive, really big, giant coming up. And then I woke up.
Interesting. I dreamt I saw a giant working at a forge, and the heat was so real. Obviously the cold conditions around here meant that I've not really felt heat for a good long while, or at least heat like this anyway. It was like there was a big fire in front of me, and the giant turned around, and it was Zephyros. Weirdly enough.
Zephyros working the forge.
Yeah, that's what was strange because obviously he's a wizard. I mean, he's a bit of a crazy wizard, but he's a wizard, so I didn't expect him to be at a forge. That's what just seemed so out of place.
Strange. I look at Celsic, and you? Have you had strange dreams or whatever?
Just the usual more gold, desire to buy a sack.
Okay.
I think good things are coming our way.
Yeah, I really
You clearly got the good fortune cookie last night.
maybe really Faltus is trying to guide us in some way. We should pray
It's the
about
dream
this.
of a simple, untroubled man who doesn't burden himself with details.
I know. I don't feel right ever since that giant attack. Ever since my fight with Droofy, I've not felt right. I'm not sure what's wrong, but I'm sure it'll pass. Anyway, we probably need to start making tracks. To be honest.
I could maybe speak a blessing over you. I don't know if you want to. It might make you feel better.
I'm open to any blessing you're willing to give. You dropped a tower on a giant that was going to kill me, so I'm good. You are all good in my book. Faltus I think has both our backs.
Okay, then I'm going to speak a small prayer over Urash before we move on. Oh,
Okay.
you want me to do that? Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
Yes.
Okay, I take out my holy symbol, which I carry around on a chain around my neck, and I speak. I say like, Faltus, we thank you for this day and for the sun coming up and your light shining on all of you, and hopefully you'll shine on our way and on Urash here, that he may feel your warmth in his heart and leave the shadows of the past behind.
Thank you.
And you don't feel any like sort of tangible like something has passed, but you might feel a little bit lighter. Might be the way to describe it, Urash. The haunting image perhaps fades a bit.
I think at the minute everything that's happened recently, you all get the impression that Urash just feels off, like very troubled essentially, like something is constantly bothering him, but he's not quite sure what it is, or he doesn't quite know how to say what it is. If that makes sense.
Yep.
Cool. Onwards and upwards.
Okay.
Cool. Onwards and southwards.
Off and southward. So you guys are now departing, I assume. Okay.
Yep.
And you're going to follow, presumably, now, are you following the path, more or less, except you won't go all the way back east, but are you following the path, more or less, that is listed on there, that sort of thin line? Because you have a couple of options.
So.
You could take the road, or you may notice that there is there's basically a river that extends southward, and that goes through a couple of fjords, basically, and eventually joins the river Mirar, which then goes in turn to the Sea of Swords to the west there. But you could take that down until you got onto the long road, which is that dotted line, and then head east again, which was originally your plan. So in other words, you can go by foot or you could go by boat. It would take a little money to rent the boat, to get the boat, but it would... And you'd have to get to the head of the river where those boats would be, but that's an option for you if you wish.
Boat does sound good.
Yeah, but we wanted to have a look for the Weevil, didn't we, on the roads?
Yeah, but he was supposed to be south of Miramar.
Yeah, I think that was the location we were given. Yeah.
Where are we thinking of getting a boat to?
So The boat would be from Bryn Shander down to the dotted line here.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. I thought you
Right
meant get a boat from the River Mirror to
No.
somewhere
I mean,
else.
that's also an option as far
Yeah,
as
we
that
could get
goes.
a boat.
You could just go west and then go down the coast and like, I mean, that would be fast. You certainly could do that also, yes.
I definitely, yeah. I think boat down to the Luskin Mirabar Road.
Yep,
Okay.
I agree.
Okay. So you were able to travel for a couple of hours south, and as you go, the incessant banging begins to die away until it vanishes altogether, to your relief. And basically about maybe 3 hours or so, as you continue to head south, you see several large, what look like houses, maybe like a small settlement might be the best way to describe it. It's not really big enough to be a village, but there are a few houses. There's one larger 2-story building. And then there are some docks leading from which there are clustered a number of wooden boats, some longer, some larger, some smaller, and there is a couple of houses nearby them as well, presumably boat houses of some kind, from which you can rent boats if you wish. You discover that you could actually purchase a boat, or you could rent a boat. You could actually even you could actually rent a boat and get someone to row it for you. You could get like a team of rowers as well, but that's obviously considerably more expensive.
They're not like a ferry service or something?
Not that goes all the way down there. Most people either buy boats or have their own boats and travel themselves. So there are people that hire themselves out as kind of like the equivalent of almost ferry service, but it's on a one-to-one, like it's on a individual basis, and it's expensive basically but it's possible for you to do if you wish.
Does any of you have any experiences with boats?
I
have
grew up
none.
near a river, so I may have, because I grew up in Palashuk in Vassar, and there's a number of rivers there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a possibility I have experience with boats. I'm not going to say specifically that I do, but I mean, I'll have used a boat at some point, just
Indeed. That's reasonable.
gathering forest wood and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I know of the existence of boats.
Yeah.
I've heard of boats.
Yeah, it's thematically accurate to say that I will have used a boat by myself at some point.
I would say that's reasonable. Are you asking me if it would be? Or are you saying it's not thematically accurate? Mike?
Mike? I think he's gone, isn't he?
I
Right?
see. Well,
He might be having internet
No,
trouble.
he's gone. He's gone.
I see.
We lost Mike! Urash is dead!
No!
I see him, but he's moving really slowly. Oh, there we go.
In and out there, sorry.
Yep. There we go. He's speaking in tongues. I thought I was like, what do you think about that?
Not
He's
me.
like, I'm not going to answer you.
Celsic has nothing to do with this current voice.
There he is. Well, I think
There
he's
he
back.
is.
I think he's back.
No, he stopped.
He was back for a moment.
And
And
Wow.
ask it.
Oh, there he
we
is. Well, I see something.
Hello.
Hey, there he is.
yeah,
He's
hello.
back.
He says hello and is scratching his beard.
So yes, did
Hello.
you hear that, Mike? I basically asked.
No, you cut out.
Okay, I asked you whether you were asking me whether that was thematically accurate. Is that what you're doing?
No, I can perceive it being thematically accurate that I will have used a boat at some point.
Yeah,
as
and I
long as
agree
you're
with
okay with it. Yeah,
I
okay,
agree
cool.
with you.
Yeah,
Yep.
then I will know how to use a boat.
I agree. Now, I'm not gonna. I don't think. I don't think that you are exceptionally, gifted with it. You didn't
No.
spend like your whole time, but you've definitely been in and around boats.
I've used boats to get over rivers and down rivers and up rivers. That's it. I'm not a ferryman, but
Right.
I'm not new to it.
Agree. Yep.
I look at the river and look at Urash and say, like, is this safe? It looks dangerous.
Every river is a little bit dangerous, but I mean, can I look at the river? Does it look specifically like rapidy, or
It does seem reasonably rapidy and windy. It looks somewhat wide and cold, and you see the people that are loading up boats and sort of going up the other side. There's actually, it almost looks as if there is what looks like a series of what looks like wooden poles that are along the side of the river, and it looks like there are people that are, and there's like ropes that are attached from pole to pole. And it looks like there are people who have been using the ropes to basically pull the boats upstream. So, you know, kind of like poling it upwards, but using the ropes to pull them upstream. Downstream, when people get into boat, like one person in particular gets into the boat and zoom, like is off pretty quickly, sort of left and right. Let me see if I can find the... Where's my sound effect at? Let's see.
I don't think we can do that with a draft horse and a pony on a boat.
Maybe not with the horses now. So I'm not
Hey,
quite
then-
sure.
Okay,
Like,
so
I wouldn't.
I turn away from the river and say, so riding it is.
Yeah, riding's probably going to be better.
I think so.
Like my experience is boats with like 1 or 2 people in, and we've got like wood and supplies with us. That's it. I've never transported livestock,
Yeah,
so I don't
okay.
know. I don't know what precautions we need to take.
There we go.
Otherwise we're going to
Okay,
have one.
so we
drowned
just ride.
pony. Yeah.
I didn't even have a chance to get my rushing river up.
So we'll probably walk down the river. What do we think?
Yeah.
Maybe we can follow the river at least.
Yeah. I'm good with that.
Okay. He's not a ferryman. He's just a journeyman. Very nice, CNS. Very nice.
Yeah.
So, I see what you did
I'll
there.
have you know, I'm a forester.
Okay.
He's lumberjack and he is okay.
Okay.
I'm saving that joke.
I'm gonna continue to use this. Okay. So you guys go down the river, and by the time you get there, so it took you about 3 hours. You left again in the morning, I'm assuming, the next day. I should have asked that to begin with. But by the time you arrived, it was probably about 10 o'clock or so. So as you make your way down the river, as you can probably tell on that map, is very windy, very sort of windy, and you see occasionally boats sort of zipping by. But for a couple of hours, your travel down passes relatively uneventfully. The path is not incredibly easy, but it's not that difficult. The horses do slip a little bit on the dampness of the stones because the water kicks up a good deal of spray, cold spray, which kind of settles down on the rock. So the round rocks near the sides of the river are a little slippery, so you guys try to keep a little bit more of a distance so that doesn't happen. But right around midday or so, right around maybe 12:30 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, possibly, you come around the side of, you're sort of moving around one bend of the river, and you come around the bend of the river, and you see and actually smell something. The smell is somewhat foul, and you see in front of you a set of what are clearly bodies. There look to be possibly a couple of giants, and then a number of large, possibly humanoid, you need to get closer to see, that are dressed in animal skins, all lying in various poses as if they were, these people died violently, basically. And they are on the banks of the river, and in fact there is one body which is actually floating in the water, face up, and is sort of just bumping against rocks. The current is pushing it against rocks, but hasn't moved the body outside of it yet.
Okay.
I will immediately stop, drop to one knee, and try and survey the area to see if there's anybody else around.
Mm-hmm.
Make a perception check for me, please.
Cool. Perception. This is where it goes horribly wrong, and I'm like, oh, look, a rock. Oh, no, I'll take that.
It's actually not what you see, but what you hear. You hear a... And there seems to be some harsh, I can speak. It's a combination of horse and harsh, and it's horse, cawing above you. And as you look above, you see this large black bird circling around and then descending. And now you can actually see that there are a few of these birds that seem to be picking at the bodies on the ground.
These are just birds of, scavengers.
Look
right?
like carrion birds, yeah. Some kind
Yeah, okay, cool. They're carrying birds, thank you. Okay. I'll turn to the others. I don't think there's anyone else around, but I don't know if we want to investigate this.
I try to find a stick nearby. Just a stick,
Okay. There are plenty of those.
Poker, essentially.
There are plenty of those.
A corpse
Right.
poker was that.
Yeah, I'm going to wander over to the corpses and start poking each one with a stick to see if they react.
Poke each one in the eye.
I
just to make sure-
dismount and I'm going to have a look at the corpus to see if I can find out how they died, maybe using like my medicine knowledge or something.
Let's see. You can make an investigation check for me, Greta, but add 2 to it. And Selsig, you're poking as you get up close and personal now on top of them. You can actually see that the humanoid creatures seem to have these are not sort of the. They seem to have. They are indeed wearing some kind of animal skin. And give me just one second. Make sure I got the right.
Just while these guys are doing it, I'm going to approach the. You said there were giants as well.
Yes. So
Yeah, I'm going to approach those.
there are. What you actually see is that these animal skins are actually covered with feathers. Celsig. They look to be large black feathers. And one of the humanoids, and these are large people, by the way. They're not giants, but these are big, big humans, and a lot of them with knotted muscles and so forth. And one of them has got what looks like a bird helmet, almost like it's a helmet, but it's got feathers covering it, and then a beak on the top, as well.
Does it look familiar in any way? Like, would I recognize it as a thing?
Make a lore check for me. History would work as well.
I'm sorry. Could you just describe the garb again, real quick?
Sure. So they are wearing their animal skins. They actually, most of them are, they have these sort of thick-skinned pants down below, but many of them just have animal skins, like maybe like wolf pelts or something like that. It's not entirely clear, covering their bodies, but not really armor. It's more just like skins. It looks like that a lot of the dead humans are wearing. And then but all of them have some kind of, sometimes more, sometimes less, feathers, black feathers, covering that skin, like attached to it somehow. And then this one, as I mentioned, that Celsig found, actually has this helmet that looks like it's made of it. And Celsig, I mean, you don't know, you know that there are certainly tribes of humanoids, barbarians sometimes, that will worship particular animals and creatures, but you don't know of anything specific that relates to that. Urash, in answer to your question, there are a couple. The giants seem to be blue-skinned frost giants as well.
Okay.
And they also seem to be dead. Your guess would be, one sec. Your guess would be that they've been dead for a few days. This didn't just happen a couple hours ago. This has been a few days.
Can I determine? Are they missing like heads and stuff like that? Is it dead obvious how they died?
They are not missing heads. There are lots of wounds. One of them is missing an arm, which is lying nearby. There are lots of savage cuts and strikes and stab wounds and things like that. They clearly die. I mean,
natural deaths.
Yeah, exactly. Right. They just all accidentally fell on each other's weapons within a
completely natural causes.
Within a half-hour period. Yes.
That's cool. I had a really quick follow-up question.
Sure.
Do I see the person that Celsig is poking with the stick with the helmet?
You can be, depending on how far, because you can just look back around and see him.
Can I ask him? Does that not remind you of the people who were wearing crow armor on Zephyrus's tower? Because I can only partially see it, but I see like a lot of black feathers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there you go, Celsig. What do you think?
Celsig, the feathers look much rougher and larger than what you saw up there, but they were also black feathers. So,
is the helmet like just a normal helmet covered in feathers? Is it not like? Is it coned or anything?
No,
like that?
there is. It seems as if there's as if it's been shaped into what looks like a bird's head. It is covered in feathers, but the helmet also looks almost like a beak, like the top of it coming out over it.
So that's the two groups we've got are the giants and these
creatures. These humanoids, these humans. Yeah. Only one of whom is wearing that helmet, I should say, but all of them have the black feathers on their skins.
Yeah. And how many giants were there? Sorry.
I think 3 that you see down there. Yes, and there's a good 15 or 20 of these humans, by the way.
Okay.
Well,
hello, company master.
I'm drawing a blank right now, so when in doubt, loot. I'm going to examine the the frost giant, to see if they've got anything of interest or value.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing. Do all the giants look identical?
They all look to be frost giants, would be your guess. But they don't really have. A couple of them have pouches of the giants in particular have pouches of what looks like some kind of thick, some kind of like strip, like a jerky, like some kind of a indeterminate meat jerky. You don't know what kind of meat in their pouch. And they have they carry rough axes that are very large. Like you could probably wield it. Greta and Celsig, it's like their size, so they could not wield these things. But they have those, and then
I have a cursed giant's axe right now. I'm fine. I'm good.
yeah, exactly. You're fine to go. Right, exactly.
Cursed axe of blood.
And as far as the humans do not have anything on them except for I mentioned the furs that they have. Their boots are also what look like possibly fur skin, might be the case. But you notice, Celsig, as you're sort of looting them, that each of them wears below those furs that I mentioned a necklace, and there is a claw at the end, a bird's claw at the end of each of the necklaces that they wear.
Greta, does this mean anything to you? You're religious, right?
Right.
So Arvin, I had an 8. I had an 18 on that investigation check earlier.
Okay.
Like a few minutes ago.
Oh, sorry. I beg your pardon. You should have reminded me. I was so occupied in telling him about the necklaces. Yes. So definitely these creatures died violently. They are beyond your aid, unless you would have to, resurrect them. They've been dead for a couple days, and actually have been picked over. You think some of their wounds look more open and festering than they should have been, probably because there have been creatures picking at them. If you had to guess, those black birds that you saw, the carrion birds, might have had something to do with that. They definitely died violently. There were massive cut wounds, stab wounds, and things like that. If you had to guess, this was a battle, and this is the battlefield that you're looking at.
Okay, so then I'm going to have a look at this claw thing. Is it made of metal? What is it?
No, it is actually made of what looks like some bird's actual claw, some like bird's claw.
Like a mummified claw?
Yes, which is
Okay.
attached to a strong piece of what might be like animal gut, maybe, or leather, or something like that.
Awesome.
That is around their necks.
Okay.
Pretty good sized claw, by the way.
Okay, is it obvious to me, like, yeah, this is the claw of, or?
No, except that it definitely is a bird of some kind. It was not manufactured. This was obviously taken from a bird. What bird? I don't know how much of a bird expert you are, but
Then I was more like, this is the claw of the god of.
no, there doesn't. You don't think there's any
Prince of Evil.
No, you don't think there's any religious significance per se, Greta. Although you do know that there are, again, nomadic tribes, barbarian tribes, which do worship various animal spirits and have these totems that they use, and it's quite possible that this might represent something like that. But there's no kind of organized religion of blah that you're thinking about that would be
Okay.
associated with this.
I will put one in my pack, just, you never know.
Yeah,
Okay.
Put two more. This might be kind of a primitive tribe, and some of them worship totems or animal spirits. And if we meet them later on, maybe we could just pass us some of theirs. We don't know, but at least it might be good to have some and try to be friends or something. But what I do wonder is, these are lying here for a few days, and nobody has picked them up, neither the giants nor whatever these humanoids are. So maybe these were like two patrols that ran into each other and actually killed each one completely off, because otherwise, somebody would have come for their dad, right?
Makes sense. It doesn't look like anyone else has picked through their pockets yet.
Yeah, and I also wonder, it's like there were no animals at the bodies. Look, this arm is still lying here. These bodies have laid here for like 4 days, and the arm is still here. So that is really, really strange. I wonder if they are poisoned or something.
Well, the birds look all right. Let's point at the carrion birds.
I don't
Which are
trust them
picking,
birds.
there are carrion birds picking away at the edges, but not. There's a few of them.
Yeah, but carrion birds are usually immune against like anything.
True.
So, yeah. This is really, really strange. Did you find anything in their pockets, Salzik?
Nothing. It's all junk, except for these necklaces, which, I don't even think they're valuable, but you never know. Maybe we can get some information at the next town.
Does anybody know what kind of creatures these humanoids are? Have you seen something like this before?
Urash, if you want, you could try to make a history check to see if
Hello.
you've seen something like this before. Uh-oh, did we lose Mike again?
He's having a few issues.
I hear you, Mike.
My
I hear you.
internet's being real weird.
Mike, I hear you.
My internet's... I can't... Yeah.
Can you hear
Okay.
us?
I just about hear you guys. Yeah, I just about hear you.
Okay.
Can you try again?
Yeah. Can you make a history check for me or you can make a history check if you want to see if you do know if you've run into these humans before or creatures like them. It is Grill, that's right. Oh, I don't know whether Mike got that or not.
He's frozen again.
I try to check.
Chat, by the way, in case people are wondering, Mike has been having issues with his internet and his PC, so he's using a laptop, and so that is why. The internet's actually holding up okay, or it has up to this point, but we have a few dropouts here and there, so please bear with him. Also, thank you for being here. This is episode 101 of Pen and Pixels. I am playing D&D with GOG, with my wonderful players in GOG who have really appreciate their enthusiasm and fun that they're having with these. Storm King's Thunder, and we are continuing our adventure here, so I hope you enjoy it, and we'll continue to watch the D&D stuff that we do here on my channel and elsewhere. Let's see. Suddenly, Mike has left. He's going to come back.
He has dropped out.
He's dropped out. Okay.
Yeah, we'll try and install. So I was just
You
thinking
can
whether
see
it
my
makes
door
sense
now.
to
I've
even
got a
roll.
nice door.
I mean, Celsig's a city halfling, so unless one of these big guys happened to walk into town and he remembers seeing it, there's no real reason why he'd know anything about them.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And the best person to ask would be Rush,
Yeah.
in terms of whether he would know anything about this or not.
Pretty
so,
sure he will be back.
Yeah, we will get him back.
He's probably punching buttons and swearing a lot right now.
I would imagine. In the meantime, so Celsig and Greta, are you doing anything other than, I know you asked him the question, Greta, so we're waiting with bated breath. Celsig, are you looking for anything else while you're doing this?
Well, we've established signs of battle. Maybe looking at footprints, see if I can see like any footprints or anything that might help establish a chain of events that happened, where they might have come from.
Yeah.
Like, did they approach from separate directions? Yeah, anything like that, really.
Okay.
Although after, 4 days, I'm not expecting to find much, but we'll see what we get.
Okay.
So would that be investigation?
Yes, that would be investigation, and also, chat, I'm going to adjust their webcams.
Yeah, it looks like he's just reappeared in chat, but he's got no
Yeah.
webcam yet. Oh, there we go.
There we go. There he is.
There we go. All right, give me a second. As I...
Hello.
Hey, welcome
He
back.
was still
Okay, it's
stuttering.
played up.
Ooh.
Apologies for that.
That's okay. I am making adjustments quickly to webcams as we speak.
Sorry.
It's quite all right.
I'm hoping that by the next session I'll have this sorted.
Yeah.
Or
No
at least
worries.
I won't be relegated to spotty Wi-Fi. Thanks, Virgin Media.
Hey, I'm just happy my computer didn't die so far. So it's all about luck.
So far,
I was going to say, the night is young. All right. So, good. That
I'm embarrassed for my ISP right now.
takes care of that.
Not mad. I'm just disappointed.
I'm just disappointed in them, not angry.
So I've changed over to connection, like we mentioned previously.
Okay. We'll see if that's any better.
So if it starts going really weird again, I will go and try Plan B.
Okay. The emergency ripcord system. Okay. So, Celsig, in answer to your question, what did you roll? I can't see it right now because I'm trying to capture Windows.
Hang on. I rolled 19.
Okay. And you were basically just trying to track down any more details, right?
Yeah, it's anything that can maybe establish a chain of events that's happened and directions,
This is a guess on your part, but if you had to guess, you would say that just from the nature of the wounds, that the giants may have had the worst of this encounter, because they seem to be more badly injured. I mean, all of them are dead, obviously, but they were just savaged, right? I mean, like they were just like completely just the tears everywhere, and if you had to guess, you would say that probably that these creatures that they killed, the sort of humans they killed here, you don't know whether the battle raged on and went elsewhere, or that should be fixed now, whether that was whether they did that elsewhere, or whether or not they might have been able to, like, whether this was the entire force and they basically killed each other. But there definitely seems as if the giants took more hits, and were slashed more than these others, even though they were both dead ultimately. Let's see. The other thing about that my streaming drip had, they were asking you, Greta was asking you about whether or not you had encountered creatures like this before. So I was going to ask you to do a lore or history check for me. History, actually, check for me as well.
Okay.
Okay. So a 17. Yeah. You do actually think you may have encountered not these, but have heard about them before. There are a set of barbarians, a group of barbarians that live basically throughout the Savage Frontier, but many of them living up in this area, who are of different tribes and groups, but they're called the Uthgard barbarians. They tend to, the dark-haired and blue-eyed, and they tend to be not the most civilized of folk. They tend to be more of the pillaging variety than of the getting along and being diplomatic variety. And there are many different tribes that exist within that group. And they are based usually around animals: ravens, bears, elks, griffins, tigers, things like that. And so they generally do wear sort of symbols of their totem, their animal totem, what they pledge their allegiance to, around them somewhere, either as necklaces, bracelets, something like that. Oh, Subhype. Did I miss Subhype?
Yeah, X5.
Oh, God. Oh, thank you, X5. X5 did it, or somebody else did, or was it TX? I'm sorry, guys. I've got to get my notifications fixed for GOG. My notifications are working, but not the GOG one, so I'm sorry that I missed that. Thank you so much for subbing to GOG. Much appreciation. And if it was, I don't know if it was X5 that did that, or was it you, X5, that subbed to it? If so, thank you, and happy birthday to you by subbing to GOG. I appreciate that, man.
It was X5 with a birthday sub, yeah.
Okay. And, okay, so Screaming Joypad is doing Plan B as well.
Okay.
So, okay, and I will try to fix, I guess I'll try to fix Greta's webcam, and then we'll have to do it all again when he gets back. Okay, so anyway, I told him that, and you guys heard it, and we'll have to see what he does about that later when he comes back. But for now, what do you guys want to do?
I would say, Salsik, we should try to find a way that does not cross the path with either of these groups, maybe, because tensions might be high in this area.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything else we can do here. It's hard to know if there's more of them out there, although there's always more. There's always something with us.
So, can you try to like go ahead and find us a safe path where these two groups have not tread on?
I'm a city halfling, Greta. I can tell you there's no one in that direction, pointing in a way where we can't even, where there's just nothing to see.
These are huge creatures. They should like leave indents in the ground.
Yeah, but with this much activity, it's hard to know what direction they came from, whether people were fighting, running, if this was an isolated incident or part of a larger battle. There's just too much.
Well, then we just go on, I guess, and hope for the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you set off back south again down the river. The rest of the day... Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Greta. Oh, yes. So the rest of the day passes relatively uneventfully. And then in the evening, probably closer to maybe 7 o'clock or so, 7:30, where it's starting to get dark, you have just made your way, and probably at this point you're around, let's say, if you take a... Oops. How about I do that not on OBS, but on Roll20? If you're around, like, say, there... as you turn, you're basically making the turn to head back east, and you can see this very large body of water in front of you. It is one of the two fjords that are basically connected to the river. So the river flows into the fjord, and then there's a little river, and then another fjord, and then the river that goes down eventually connects to the River Mirar. So this is the first of those fjords, if your mapping is correct. And you see sort of the water ahead of you. There's kind of the space opens up a little bit. You are now free of the mountains, so the mountains and the hills are behind you. And it's relatively flat ground. The river seems to have calmed down a bit here. It's grown wider, and it's not as much rapids, just sort of slower paced at this point. And as you are sort of walking along and it's getting darker, I'd like you both to make a perception check for me, please.
Okay, perception. Oink. Oh.
There's a thing.
I perceive we are under sky.
It's a bush.
There are definitely things there, okay?
Look, a rock!
Yes, both of you are just like, wow, look at that
What
water
a
ahead of us.
fjord! Look at this. This
I've
is
seen fjords,
awesome.
and that fjord is one of the great fjords that I've ever seen.
I like that boulder. That's a nice boulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're totally right.
Yep, it's pretty much that way. And so you guys are able to continue for another half hour or so. And now it's starting to get dark. So the question is, do you want to settle in for the night? If you were to travel for about another half hour or so, you'd probably get to the edge of the fjord itself. If that mattered to you to sort of camp out there or go,
It would give us access to fresh water, right?
That's true.
That I think we should. Sounds like I think we should maybe venture on for a short while just to get closer to the water.
Yeah, may as well make the use of the daylight while we've got it.
I wonder if Urash can maybe try to catch a fish or whatever people do outside in the wilderness.
I'm pretty sure they teach you how to do that when you're a barbarian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Let's go.
All right, so you guys are able to make your
will-
way the rest of the way to the fjord, the sort of
If it
western edge.
gets really dangerous on the way, I would summon a little light so that
Okay.
we don't fall down a cliff or whatever happens.
It does get fairly dark, so if you want to do that, you may want to cast that because it's getting pretty
Yeah.
dark. It seems to be a moonless night.
Yeah, I'm going to use a cantrip and put light on my. What do I have that I could just have glow? On my mace, I'm going to use my mace like a
Okay,
like
a torch,
I'll-
like Statue of Liberty it up. Okay,
I'll summon my dancing lights and I'll just have them orbiting my head.
okay. Sounds good. So you guys get to the edge and begin to set up camp. Now, are you sending Urash to go find fish? Basically, do some fishing?
We should not do that while he's not here. That's not nice.
I was going to say, I don't hear him disagreeing with the plan, so...
But I think we should try to conserve our rations as long as we can, and if we can have fresh food, that's a good thing. I would say.
Okay.
So if Urash agrees with that, and if Urash thinks he can catch a fish, or like forage or something, go for it, Urash.
Celtic's knowledge of food is that you give someone money and then you get a cooked plate of it. That's his entire experience of how food generally works.
Ah,
Yeah, I
He
think.
knows fishing sort of involves hitting water with a stick.
Yeah,
Right.
I think due to my medicine and knowledge and stuff, I would recognize some plants and stuff, but maybe that has not that much to do with food.
right. And there's not a lot of that around here, other than sort of just bushes, scrub brush, type stuff like that. That's around there. So there's like stuff sort of around the edges basically, but not any like heavy trees or extensive plants or grasses or things like that.
Then I'll be nice to the animals and set up a fire and stuff like that.
Okay, so you do that. Celsig, you are also sort of like helping Greta with the stuff while Urash does the... Okay.
Make sure the horses are sort of secured and got their feed and, just making camp.
Okay. All right. So you begin to set things up, and at one point, there is Greta, as you're sort of in the process of making the fire. It's been a relatively calm day, and then you see something odd, which is you feel this sort of heavy breeze, which sort of seems to spring up out of nowhere, and it's getting much stronger. And it kind of, first you just see the campfire kind of flickering, and then, and it's like shaking back and forth wildly, and you can feel your sort of hair blowing around, and then, at possibly the last moment, you see, or rather hear behind you, this sound of like flapping wings is what it sounds like. And then like this horrible like fading cry.
I throw water on the fire immediately.
Okay.
He's like, ah!
I grab my holy symbol around my neck with one hand, just like in a shock reaction.
Okay.
And with the other hand, I summon light. Just, I don't know, whatever is in front of me, whether it's a stone or something, I just cast it down.
Okay. Celsig and Greta, I need you both to make dexterity saving throws for me, please.
Ha-ha!
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
So-
knew that was coming.
So, Celsig,
That was, I failed.
you throw yourself to the ground, Celsig, just as something massive and winged passes over your head. Greta, that doesn't happen for you.
Yeah, I guess so.
You start to sort of settle down, and then you're halfway down, and then your armor gets kind of stuck. Your shield is sort of stuck, and like, God, I'll just, and you start like kind of muttering to your god. And then something impacts you in the back, and then you have vanished. Specifically, something is bearing you aloft. You are dangling from a pair of large claws. Celsig, you hear Greta go, "Hook!" And then you see Greta's body flying up above you. And you are now standing, and you're sort of like, not standing, I should say. You're on the ground looking up, and you see her. Greta, I don't know if you're like, like you tell me how you react, but
I scream. Scream is fine. I think this is like a very new experience, and it's not pleasant.
yes.
So I go like, ah!
Oh, bloody hell.
And you hear some harsh voice say in a language you don't understand, Greta, behind you.
Okay, I set the bird on fire.
Okay. Now, it would be a little easier to set the bird on fire if you were not being held by your arms. So casting with your feet is going to be problematic, I
I
suspect.
thought it got me by my back. Okay.
No, not. I mean, you're grabbed by your shoulders, really, like underneath your arms, basically. However, you might be able to still cast, though. It'll be a little bit more difficult because, quite obviously, concentration is not going to happen here, but it's possible.
Yeah, let me think about this. There's this thing.
Something
Yeah,
right
wait
above
a
your
moment,
head.
bird.
No, I made that up. You're not
Okay, I'm
the
just
boss
gonna.
of me.
You know what? I'm just gonna do a ranged spell. I'm going to use a guiding bolt.
On
But that doesn't set him on fire, right? That's
no,
not
it
good.
doesn't. Moreover, you don't know what the hell is. You don't have any idea. You just heard sounds. You hear this very loud flapping sound. Your body's being bobbed about, and there's kind of a foul smell coming from above you.
So I can't really reach him well to set him on fire. Or it.
You could possibly set the thing on fire because whatever's holding you, you could just set that thing on fire. You could try to anyway.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I would like to do that. I would like to put like a sacred flame into it.
Okay. All right. Let's do that. There's no initiative
Okay.
yet.
Whoop. There
Wait,
we go.
that's right. The dexterity save. Okay, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I thought you
It
would
does
like
not
to know
make
that,
it.
maybe.
Okay. So the good news is it doesn't make it, and you there's and above you you hear this and this scorched smell comes down. Smells like chicken, and above you. That's the good news. The bad news is you are then released
Yes. I'm over a fjord. What should happen?
in the air. Well, so Greta, you go. Like you're going a good distance. At a certain point, you realize that you may have reached terminal velocity. You are not quite that high. I'm being a little hyperbolic, but you're pretty high up there. Celsig, you actually see a flare. For a minute, you can't see anything. And then you see a flare of light, and you hear this caw of, I don't know, pain or something. And then you see something, you see it sort of waver, and you see a small dark object dropping from it.
the dark object goes, ah!
Okay. All right. So let's see. You impact the water in your armor.
Just had a message from Screaming Joypad. His plan B is currently rebooting. Please stand by.
Okay.
I'm standing by totally. No worries.
Dude, you are falling by is what you're doing. Let's see.
In the meantime, be a meat shield for us.
You take 23 points of damage, Greta, as you impact the water hard. Ow! You may be aware that water, although it is softer than land, if you hit it from a certain distance, it still hurts a hell of a lot.
Could I try some acrobatics to like be better in falling?
Not really. You don't actually know what you're leading for, is the problem. And so you are now in the middle. Now, the other problem is, how's your swimming?
Wonderful.
In armor.
I'm a buoyant dwarf.
Really?
Yes, totally.
But you haven't got a beard to use as a buoyancy device because you're a female.
Who says I don't have a beard?
Yeah.
Do female dwarves have beards, actually?
Say again, is what?
Do D&D female dwarves have beards? 'Cause
Yes.
I know... Right, okay.
D&D female dwarves do have beards, and in fact, they also have them in AME. Terry Toons is playing a female dwarf in our Adventures of Middle-earth campaign. Bearded female dwarf. I mean, it depends on whether you want to goatee or whatever. In any case,
I'm putting my athletics in, and I just crawl back to the beach. No problem at all.
Yeah,
I don't see any problems.
That's not quite exactly what happens. What you're actually going to be doing is you're going to be making strength checks to see if you can stay afloat. You are currently in heavy armor, and you are not particularly agile in swimming, from what I understand, since we already established you and water don't necessarily get along.
I'm fine. I'm just no problem. There we go. Look at this. Swimming like a pro.
Actually, strength check, not a strength save. So strength check, yeah. It's not a saving throw.
Yeah. Wait, on this? No, I can only click on strength here, and that's what happens.
There should be. Well, I think if you just click on the statistic itself.
No, doesn't do anything.
Maybe I'm wrong.
It should do. If you click on the actual word strength.
Wait there. There we go. I have strength.
So you see, sort of like, and again, it's very dark, so you can barely see, but you hear like
19.
You hear and then poosh, and then silence, and then sputtering, and then something at the surface. And Greta, I don't know if you're saying anything at this point, like as you surface, besides sputtering and spitting out water.
I would try to find out where the direction is I need to go, so I shout, Salsig, Urash! Okay. I'm in the water!
Okay, you do that before you sink below the surface again slightly. Salsig, you hear that. It is coming from somewhere in the fjord, perhaps not too far from you, but this is essentially a long, extensive game of Marco Polo. There is, I don't know if you ever played that game as a kid, or you may not have that. Marco Polo...
I know of it.
Okay, so it's basically a game where... in a swimming pool, some kids yell Marco, and they all close their eyes. The person in the middle, who's it, closes his eyes, yells out Marco. All the people around him yells out Polo, and then he swims towards them with his eyes closed, or she with her eyes closed, to try to tag them. So that's basically what this is, because unfortunately, Celsig put out the fire when this attack first happened, so you have no idea where you are, Greta, except in the water, and having a hard time staying afloat.
But I put a light spell on the ground.
That's is that concentration or not? If it's concentration based, there's no way you maintained it. If it isn't, then you can still see that. That's true.
Object touch, firefly. No concentration. Duration 1 hour.
Okay, so that's fine then. So you are able to see then a speck of light. It's not that far from you. You can try to do the best you can to kind of struggle, paddle, swim, half-ish, but that armor is dragging you down big time.
I'm not gonna leave. I'm not gonna try to take off the armor in the water. That's not gonna make it any better.
Okay.
I continue my way towards the light.
Flail. Okay. Celsig, you hear another cry from overhead, and as you glance up, you see, again, some creature which looks like there were a few little flames on it that might be just about to burn out, circling around. You also see a couple of other winged shapes, basically 3, maybe 4 of them, that are circling around you, and they seem to be spiraling in towards you.
If we're talking about size, Because you told us the humanoids are pretty big. Have you read Elf Quest? Are we talking about that kind of bird size?
Pretty good size. Yep. These are giant
Oh
birds.
shit. Okay, that's not what I wanted to set on fire. Oh god dang it.
So, they are good size. They're not dragon size, but they are
I did not
good
think
size.
about that very well. Okay, happened.
Okay.
Right. So
You're going to get one chance to do something, Celsig, and then I'm going to call, and I'm going to ask Gorash what he wants to do, assuming Mike is here, and then we're going to call for initiative. So you tell me, Celsig.
Okay. I'm actually going to throw up dancing lights about 20 feet behind me.
Okay. Hey,
Um,
there's Mike. Give me
I'm
1
gonna
second
put-
while I get you recaptured,
Yep.
Mike.
Yep. Apologies again.
Lovely,
I'm
that
on
works.
the proverbial plan B.
Excellent.
Wonderful. Welcome back.
Mike in chat's just going, "What fire? What did you do?"
Yeah, do you
Right,
guys want to
are you
fill
on
in,
the
or do you want
5 bloody minutes?
do you want to fill in? Do you want us to fill in, Urash, what just happened?
Well, basically, we basically figured we got as much information as we could from the battle scene. Nothing really earth-shattering. It's just, there's a battle. We can't really tell much else. Let's keep moving. We've headed south. We've hit about the first fjord on the southward journey. We decided to stop and make camp. Suddenly, we hear a noise in the sky. In a panic, I put out the campfire. Dodge a thing that tried to swoop and grab me. Greta didn't. So suddenly we had airborne Greta.
Let's be clear.
Yeah.
Greta actually had a 0 on her check.
Yeah. So so I was suddenly in the air, tugged like very painfully by
Brilliant.
a big bird with something muttering on its back. So I set the bird on fire. And then I fell into the fjord, and I hurt myself. And now I'm trying to get back to the shore.
Yeah, she did her
And,
best Urash impression.
And there are many birds circling in the sky now, and they're really, really huge, and they have people on their backs.
And one of them has been slightly on fire, and probably
yes, one of
in
them
the
is
best mood.
smoldering.
So basically, I've got one last
Okay,
action. decided
I feel
not-
all
I'm-
caught up.
I'm not good at swimming, just in case that wasn't clear. I'm also wearing my armor.
You very, very nearly got sent fishing while you were gone because you weren't here to object. We figured the barbarians and they're taught how to fish as part of their training.
So,
At some point.
So, Celsig, I'm going to ask for you and Urash to tell me one thing, and then I'm going to ask for initiative from everybody.
Yeah, I'm going to throw, and I don't even know if it'll work, but like I said, I'm going to throw up 3 dancing lights behind me, about 20 feet away,
Really badly.
10 feet apart, and hope they act as some sort of distraction. Like
Okay.
like whatever's diving down might focus on the bright targets rather than
Gotcha.
the halfling.
How far away from you can you put the dancing lights?
They can go up to 120 feet away.
Okay. How far then do you want to put them?
I'm putting them about 20 feet away because I also hoping they might serve as a beacon for Greta to orientate herself.
Okay. Okay, that sounds reasonable.
I'm trying to get a lot of efficiency out of this.
You're able to do that, and Greta, you actually see. We'll actually see if you see it when you actually surface. I was about to ask Mike what he was doing, but Mike is, I think, restarting because he was having trouble still with the internet. Again, apologies to everyone about the internet problems. Mike is just as upset about it as anybody else, and probably more so. So, okay, so you're going to do that, and then are you staying where you are, Celsig? Or are you kind of diving left, right, up, down?
I'm sort of good. Yeah, I'm trying to serpentine basically.
Serpentine. Where are you headed? Are you like headed out towards the fjord? Are you headed out? Like,
I'm panicking, and I'm keenly aware that I'm not even sure if there was a cliff nearby that maybe might drop me off into the water.
no,
I'm
not cliffs. The fjords are fairly flat, and from the river, there's hills a good distance away. There is a gentle slope leading into the fjord, but there's not anything like that. This is a fairly open area, actually. There's not a lot to hide below, so.
I guess I will be heading towards the fjord, but trying to make not a very easy target of it, and see again trying to orientate with Greta.
Okay. Alrighty. Let's see. And then, for this part, I kind of have to wait for Mike because I need to know what he's doing.
I could show more dice.
Sure. Go ahead, and I also want to point out, everyone in my channel will sort of recognize this, that this is what always happens. As long as I start adjusting Pyron's webcam, that will bring Mike back, guaranteed. Like the minute I adjust it to normal. Okay, good. So now she's back normal. So that means Mike will be back any second. messing up the webcam capture any moment. Go ahead and show your dice, Greta. We might as well, Pyron, we might as well do that now before.
I will just have to wait. I have to open the window with the camera so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, not sure. Let's see if this is one of my oldest dice. It's kind of a goldish color.
Very nice.
And I actually started role playing with Shadowrun, so most of my dice are D6. I've got lots and lots and lots of D6 because of Shadowrun. Like everybody who plays Shadowrun knows that.
Tons of dice. Yep, tons of six-sided.
Yes. But over the time, I just collected, and I think I even have some. I forgot this, and I'm not sure you can see this on camera. This is very, very close. Come on, camera, you can do it. Don't be like this, camera.
I see a white face.
Yeah, it doesn't work out. I'm going to put some pictures of my favorite dice on Twitter, so that was going to work. Because I like talking about dice, and I also like to exchange dice. So if you play D&D with me someday or something, we might have to exchange dice.
Oh, a dice exchange. Very nice.
Yes,
very nice.
I love it, and then I have to remember like, oh, I got this die from there and there. These are actually die with Japanese numbers.
Oh, that's cool. I do actually have a slight. I have to admit, I don't know if I've told you guys this, but I have a dream that some of the players that I play with, I would love to be able to do like a live session or two with them, like in person. So I think it would be awesome if at some point, somehow I travel to Europe or something and there is some equidistant country between Wales and Germany and the UK, that like in Britain specifically, and like we all meet there somehow and figure out a way to stream it. I would love to do that, so that would be neat.
I mean, we could all meet at Mike's place because he's not here to say no.
That's true. We'll just meet at that's true. And assuming that they haven't put a wall around them by then, England will want Europeans to come there by that point. So sorry to say that out loud. That's sigh. The land of Brexit. Hey guys, want to buy some RPG? Yeah, exactly. I'll be the guy with the trench coat full of dice. Okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have when he comes back, I'll have him do it. I'll have you guys roll initiative then. Let's figure out who's doing what.
I also have an orc dice that has only like scratches for numbers on it.
That's awesome.
Oh, guys, every side says 1 because they can't count higher.
Mm-hmm.
There. Like this.
Oh, thank you, Egg-Rack. I do have a link to my page. Actually, if you type in !host, you'll see a link to my webpage there. And I'm actually, I do multiple campaigns, multiple D&D campaigns. And I'm going to be doing a campaign, continuing my campaign on Saturday with the Infinity and Beyond crew, playing The Rise of Tiamat. That is a high-level campaign. They are level 11, I believe, 10 or 11 now, and they are well into that adventure. So, yeah, I do a lot of D&D. I also do a Tolkien campaign, Adventures of Middle-earth. That's officially sponsored on my channel, too. So I appreciate the compliment. You could definitely go over there. But, yeah, just type in !host. X5 has already done it, so it's right up there. Oh, except that oh yeah, there it is. That's Twitch. Is that, yeah, because you put all of that. Yeah, that's my channel. Right on the top.
Sorry, I didn't know what else to put.
No, that's fine. I looked down there and first I just saw Dark Saber. I'm like, wait, what? And then I saw that all of us were there. And I'm like, oh, good, that's fine. I was just like, I mean, I love Dark Saber, but I am not, Dark Saber is more than me.
Well, hello.
I am more than one person, but thanks, dude. I appreciate it, Egg-Rack. Okay, initiative for everybody.
Yeah, okay.
I got
Celsius
22.
got a 22. Apparently Panic works for that. Thank you for the follow, Egg-Rack.
Nice.
Wow.
There we go.
Greta with that 19.
Literally the highest you can get.
Drowning Panic does wonders for your initiative also, I think.
Yeah.
I think, Greta.
Wow, you get -1 on your initiative. Is that because of the armor?
I think that's because my dexterity is low.
Ah, yeah, that makes sense.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to take some pretty photos of my dice over the next day, and I'm going to put them on Twitter.
Dice, essentially dice porn. And that's what we're basically talking about here.
Yeah, but I really, really like dice, I have to admit.
There are a lot of D&D folks who really do like it. Like, no joke. You should see, if you ever go to Gen Con or one of these huge gaming conventions, like even Essen or one of those, oh my god, like, just tables of dice, like just
I know,
barrels
it's
of them.
wonderful.
You know? Yeah.
One day I want to be able to afford some metal dice.
I want the ones with like LEDs in them because I'm a sucker for LED everything.
Yeah.
Hello, Windy Bird Games.
Oh, poor
Haven't
Mike.
did.
Did you guys see what he just posted? He just posted a link. 1083 ping, 0 download. 1083? I think that means that I actually found out about your ping before you did, Mike. I think is what that ping means. Oh, God, the horror. I have actually streamed once with, I once streamed with 0.8 up at a hotel, and it was a nightmare on wheels. It was terrible. It was not so cool. What's up, Winnie Bear?
Remember the time when we had Chrono streaming from Australia as well?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Well, pretty much Australia in general. Like, my Assad who plays with me. Oh, my God, he is not pleased. Okay, so let's see. We've got a 22. We got a 19 for Greta. And then depends on what Urash got. I should just tell him
He
to
rolled
roll
a 20,
dice.
didn't he tell you?
Did he roll 20?
Totally.
Yeah, 8-bit's right. Seeing that image just gives me flashbacks. Just, how I made it 4 years with that internet, I do not know. But I'm a stubborn bugger.
I know, that's true, yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's a measure of how much you loved streaming. And you love chat. It was all about your dedication to Twitch.
Yeah. Well, it's always like, say, even before I came to GOG as well, it's like there's nice people on Twitch in general. And then obviously a year ago, I started hanging, well, over a year ago now, wow. It's getting close to 2 years.
More, I was going to say, because I've been here for a little more than a year. So you've got to be longer than me.
Yeah, I think I was hanging around here about 6 months before I even sort of applied to join the team.
Yeah.
Yes,
Just
it was
wonderful
wonderful when you finally decided to apply. It's not like you needed a little push or something.
I had a few people encouraging me, yeah. I think I had Tika threaten to fly over and beat me up if I didn't apply as well.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we have people who just want to join the team, and then we have people we want to join the team and they don't apply. Even if we're like, it would be a good idea to apply. Really?
And they're like,
you should try
"Herp,
it."
When I actually applied, I didn't hear back for a few months, and I had actually forgotten about it. I applied, and a couple months later, then Outstar was like, "Hey, Arv, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Oh, hi." I had, like, literally at one point, I'm like, "Who the hell is Outstar Walker?" And I'm like, oh, yeah, GOG, right. And then I was like, "Oh, cool." And then, that was that. But I literally at first had no idea why I was getting an email from GOG or why, like, who Outstar Walker is. And I'm like, is this a scam? Is this like a Nigerian prince who says I can earn $1 million? Like if I...
And then it was exactly like that.
You own no dice? What?
What is
Okay,
this?
all right, we have to
I have
give...
75 dice.
We have to
and
take up a
Mike-
collection and send Mike a set of dice.
Yes, please.
Screaming
yeah.
Joypad must receive dice immediately. That's ridiculous. This is a guy who loves D&D. Such a slacker. That is not true. I did not say that. I think Outstar is a wonderful boss who does everything beautifully and does not keep us down in the basement chained to iron pipes.
And she does not whip us regularly.
No, definitely not. Under any circumstances. Okay, so I'm thinking that maybe what you might want to do is actually we might want to roll for Urash and sort of see how things go. I need to double check and see what his statistics are, though. You got? Let me see if we have access to his character sheet. I think we should.
Yeah, we should. There. Move. There's Urash.
Yeah, he's got +2 to his initiative. So, okay. So, can one of you roll the die, and then we'll add 2 to it for his initiative, please?
I'll do
D20.
that.
I can also do that.
I'll let you do it then. I should have done it.
Yeah, because you have been better. Would have been better.
Well, lovely. All right, let's do it up. Celsig, you have got spiraling dark figures towards you, Greta splashing and yelling in the fjord, and Urash staring off into space as if waiting for something.
He's just like,
Exactly, as if he's seen the face of God.
look at all those stars.
Exactly. My God, it's full of stars. Yeah, somewhere you hear da 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 dun 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 dun. Okay.
I like to say I'm going to be sort of moving in a sort of serpentine pattern towards where I remember the coastline being. I've got the lights behind me, hopefully as a distraction,
Okay.
and I will be trying to make myself as small of a target as possible. So I'll be like I'm proper low running, like
And so you're able to actually get there because you're not that far from the fjord. You're able to get there fairly quickly. So what do you want to do? You could dive in. You can actually see out where there's a lot of splashing and flailing about, not too far from you.
Yeah. Let me think. So let's see. Just trying to think of distances. I can create one more dancing light, but it has to be within 60 feet of an existing one. No, sorry. Oh, never mind. No, lights must be within 20 feet of another light created, so that's going to be no good, really. I'll literally put the target right on me.
That's good. Okay.
Um,
I'm going to pull up some battle music while we're chatting.
I'm gonna hold there for now. I think 'cause there's not much else I can do. But I think I'll end my turn by just diving flat on the ground by the water.
Okay. No, give me actual battle music is better. So you're going to dive down.
Yeah, I basically went in my turn like flat on my belly by the water.
Sorry about that. No, that sounds like Mass Effect battle music. What the hell? No.
I was thinking Dex.
There we go. That's more like it. Good. Okay. Like Dex. That's true too. So you're throwing yourself flat. Do you do that? Are you just that's it? Like face down? Are you like readying anything?
I'm gonna whip out my bow, but like it's dark, I don't really have a clear target to be prepared to shoot at. So I'm just gonna end my turn sort of with my bow out ready, and like on my back, just like.
Gotcha. Okay, that sounds good. Greta, it's your turn. I need you to make another strength check for me, please.
Okay, coming up. Oh. It's hard to swim like this.
Yeah, it really is, and you notice that. You take a couple of points of damage, too, to be specific, as you sort of suck in some water, Greta.
Okay.
This is not a great thing. You maybe struggle a little closer to shore. It's not completely clear to you if you are or not.
Okay.
But, yeah, it's definitely problems. And I'm not going to ask you what you're going to do, because what you're going to do is attempt to avoid drowning. That's pretty simple. Okay. Let's see. That leads us to good old Urash. Let's see. Urash currently is still staring into space. And what does the party consensus think that he's theoretically going to do, since Urash at the moment is...
He's saving me.
He's going to dive in and try to swim out for you?
I actually feel like that is what he would do, to be honest.
I think you're probably right. So, all right. So he's going to cast his weapon aside, dive into the water. Yeah, for Gondor, exactly. And then start swimming towards where you are. Let's see. One of the two of you, either Greta or Urash Tax to Darkness, either Greta or Celsig, please make a roll for me. We're going to test his strength. Actually, he doesn't have swimming, doesn't he? He can use athletics, though. I'll allow him to use his athletics. So if he's got it,
tell me what.
So that'll be in. So he has 8. So what that means is he's going to be so plus 13. So he's going to be rolling a 20 and then adding 13 to it.
Wait, D20 plus 13?
Yep.
Nice.
Urash is kind of strong. It's kind of his thing. Still a 20. So he strikes out from land with strong, powerful strokes. And Greta, before you know it, he's actually gotten to you. And he gets there pretty quickly. And he sort of grabs you, kind of yells at you, "Put your arms around my neck." I'm assuming that's what he would say. And then he turns and goes back to, is sort of aiming back towards shore. So you are currently able to breathe. You're sort of, clutching, holding onto his back, basically, as he's prepared to sort of head backwards. Yeah, exactly. Urash is trying to rescue Greta, but lags strangely through the water. Like, she keeps, the collision detection's bad, so she keeps, not connecting. He's like, God damn it. Okay. So...
I'm clipping through.
Right now, Mike is like, ha ha ha. He's just crying and laughing. Okay.
On the shore, it looks like to me he's one place and suddenly he's teleported all the way over there.
Okay. Let's see. So, all right. There is this caw again, and then there is this whooshing sound above you, Selsig, as two creatures swoop above you. One of them, let's see, 15.
Miss.
Okay, and another 15, so also a miss. So you hear this snap as if a jaws of like a mouth or a beak has just snapped closed above you, and then something whooshes by. Another thing whooshes by, but it doesn't seem to be anywhere close to you. It seems to be close to the lights, and there's sort of you hear this, arf, arf, which is definitely not a bird. It sounds like maybe it's rider, because you're guessing that there's something riding on top of it now. And then one of them goes at Urash. 21 and a 12. Okay, so the 21 I think is going to hit his armor. Let's see if that's true.
If I'm on its back, the 21 is going to hit his dwarf.
That's a good point. Let's see. It's going to hit his dwarf. Let's see. He has an AC of... Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so that is going to hit him. Let's see. And it's going to hit you also. All right. Okay. You take another 6 points of damage from this, Greta, as you are struck. There's grabs that's sort of out of your shoulder. There's a spot where the armor seems to be slightly loose from your arm after all the flailing about and swimming. And so this big beak takes a huge, like carve out of your shoulder. It hurts a lot. And there is, again, loud laughing above you. And then the bird flies on above you.
They are dwarf eaters.
Okay, Selsig, you are up again.
Yeah. Can I even see? Or are we in pretty much total darkness?
Not total darkness. It is a moonless night, but there are the lights nearby. And there is, oddly, because of the whiteness of the surroundings, there are some reflections that are sort of up there. So you can get, like, faint... You could probably get enough that you could try to attack them, but you would be at a negative. Not a disadvantage, but at a negative. Shouldn't the hit miss because of his lag? Yeah, but Greta's not lagging. Greta's fine.
No, Greta is nearly dead.
But she's fine to be hit, is my point.
I will just... I'm literally strapped for ideas right now, so I will just pull back an arrow and let loose some moving shape up there, just like...
Okay. Do you want to aim at the one... now, you could aim at the one that just missed you. You could aim at one, because you can see one flapping above the fjord, or you could aim at the one that's way off by the lights, theoretically. Not way off, but off by the lights.
I'm going to try and aim at the one over the fjord, because I think we need to distract that from my friends.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to take a shot at that one. And hope I don't hit them.
Okay.
Oh god, I hope I don't crit fail.
That would be unfortunate. Don't do that.
Okay, so rolling for my short bow. 20.
Let's see. We're going to subtract 2 from that for fighting in the darkness. That is a hit.
Nice. Right, roll for damage. That's 8 piercing.
Okay. You hear a caw, and something, you hear a thunk above you, Greta, through your haze of pain and fear and drowning frustration. But nothing falls into the water or anything. Although you feel something drifting past you, a few things drifting past you, might be feathers maybe, as Urash is furiously trying to, paddle towards shore. And let's see, that leads us to, and are you staying where you are, Selsig, or are you moving?
I'm going to try dropping prone again.
Okay, so you just fire and then drop down, okay.
Yeah,
that's fine.
That's the only thing.
Greta, you actually now, you can act if you wish. You're going to have to hold on with one arm, but you can try to, if you wanted to cast something or whatever with the other, you could maybe do that, because you're up.
Yeah, casting something would be fine. One moment. For example, wait, I need to close this spell. Yeah, okay, where is it? I knew I put a greater heal somewhere. Wait, where is my... One minute. I put a greater heal somewhere. Where did my greater heal go? I can't find it. Well, then in that case, I will just.
Not
I can't
so
find
great
my
after all.
greater- Okay, I'm going to. In that case, I need to just go for a cure wounds because I just can't find my greater heal right now. Which is a bit strange.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, do you, because you did have a chance to rest, so you should theoretically have it.
I should. Maybe I messed up my sheet thing again. I think that's what happened. I'm going to use a cure wounds now because it does not. I'm going to try to heal myself because I'm dying.
Okay, seems logical.
Yep. Okay, and I'm going to.
What's up, Ataraxu?
And there we go.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
So that's 22. Is that what I'm looking at? Total.
8 plus 8 plus 3 plus something. Should be 22,
Yeah,
yeah?
so 22 total. Okay. So, all right. So
Yeah.
you're feeling much better. 24 hit points. You feel. And you
Okay,
can
that
see
is
this
better.
large, as I said, feathered creature flapping around. Seems to be 3 of them. 2 over by the shore, and 1, of course, above you guys.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, I think that, but that's me. I mean, I can't go anywhere. I've done my thing, so.
Right. You could let go and try to swim yourself, but I think we've all seen how that worked
why
last
not?
time.
Why, no. I will mumble. Thank you, Urash.
Okay. Urash is like, this is stupid virgin media, and continues to paddle furiously towards the shore. Let's have one of you guys make another strength check for him. And again, this is athletics, so you're adding the 13 to it.
I have that prepared, so I'm just gonna roll it. There we go.
Okay. Yes, so he does. Remember, he got to you in 1 turn. He's able to get back in 1 turn also. Fortunately, you weren't all that far out. And he sort of dumps you out. Celsa, you see, you sort of hear this cursing, and then you see Greta kind of dragging herself up, and your friends are now back on land, although somewhat the worse for wear for their harrying experience, apparently. And Ura shouts out a cry as it is no longer his turn. See you, JLC. Good to see you, man. All right, so they come swooping in again. Let's see. They're going to aim for. Can anyone see what his armor class? I think it's 14, right?
Can't see it.
No, I can't.
I see it. Yeah, it's 14. Okay. So, let's see. The one that attacked you before, this time attacks Urash. Hits him for 9 points of damage. I don't believe he's resistant to piercing, although, if you can actually hear me, Mike, are you resistant to piercing damage? I'm sure you are in real life, but I mean, is your character resistant to piercing is what I really mean.
Mike said he has barely any data left, so we will have to see how long he stays.
Okay.
And he can't get back online with his router. So, yeah. Router has rebooted twice with no change. Download is still
Yeah, I saw that.
0.00.
Saw that poor
Yeah.
guy. No, you don't think so? Okay. All right, so you're going to take that damage. All 3 of these creatures come in to do the same thing. They are all aiming at you.
At me? Or at
No,
Mike?
at Urash.
At Urash?
The one who's sort of the largest target and who's standing. Not the one who's prone to the ground and sort of clutched, body clutched to himself like Salsig, or you on the ground and smaller. So he takes another 3 points of damage from that. And then the last one attacks. Each one of these things, by the way, is attacking with talon, with beak and then talon. That one hits with both, actually. Let's see.
He rages.
He rages?
He rages.
Oh, rage card. I rage. Okay. Oh, crap. I better do this damage first and then figure out what that's going to mean. All right, 11, 13, 22. Cool. All right, so he has taken a grand total of... let's see. He started with 57. 53. So he has taken a total of... He's taken about 30 points of damage.
What? 30?
30 total. total among the 3 attacks. So now I have to go double check about raging. I believe that means he's resistant to stuff.
30. He just took 3 swoops to the face.
Yep. All right. Let's see. Can't
No,
remember
but
from
there
resistant
is
or
no
not.
other ISP in this area. That is the problem.
Yeah, no, I think he would already have done it differently if he could.
Rage.
Yeah, I think you're right, TX Anderson. I believe that's right, but I'm just double checking.
If he's raging, he has resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. All right, that was a good time to do that then. All right, this is a good day to die, so he takes 15 total instead of 30. All right. It's kind of interesting. It's like D&D by Play by Mail on TNDV chat. Okay. Right. Okay. And then they fly up again, cawing loudly. And again, the cawing is also occupied with a rush sort of sounds. Celsig, you're up.
Yeah, so not a lot of options available to me, so I'm going to jump to my feet again and take a shot at... I can't tell which one I've hit, so just the first one I see, I'm just going to take a shot with my short bow again.
Okay. Let's
I
see.
find something that seems to work. I'm going to keep doing it.
Why don't you roll a 4-sided die for me and subtract 1. We're going to see which one of these 3 you hit.
Okay, 4-sided... -1, so 3.
Number 3, that happens to be the injured one. Lucky you. Okay, aim at that one.
Okay, come on, baby. 23.
Hit. So that's a 21 with the minus, but still.
Yeah. Max damage, 9 piercing.
Wow. All right. This is the second time. All right. That one seems to be kind of listing sort of from side to side. It is definitely having some trouble now, and you hear kind of somewhat sounds like like you don't know what the language is, but you'd guess it would be cursing of some kind. By the way, what languages do you guys speak? I should have asked that before.
I just speak common and what was the other one? Hang on, it's on the sheet somewhere.
I speak Common and Dwarfish.
Common, halfling, and thieves' cant.
And thieves can't. Yeah, I know X5. I have to figure out a way to do that. I should probably just do something different with the overlay, honestly, is what I should do. So that I can see that. Because it's probably a little bit hard to see some of it. I move it around. Also, the thing is, this map is a little,
Oh,
I could sort of shout around.
Urash is drawing the Axe of Blood
The
as
Axe
well.
of Blood. Oh, God.
Oh, dear.
That thing. All right. Chat needs to be cloaked in darkness at all times. Okay. Right. So, let's see. Right. So I'm sorry. You said you spoke common and what?
Dwarfish.
Okay, and Celsig common and what?
Common, halfling, and thieves' cant.
Right. Okay. None of the thieves can't. They're yelling at each other and thieves can't. Yeah. No.
Someday I'll find a use for this.
Sadly, not so much. Okay. Just checking. Okay. Greta, you were up.
Give me a minute because I've got a plan, but I'm not sure it works out because I cannot see. I'm trying to find out the range of the spell.
Does it involve a big ball of fire by any chance?
Kind of. Okay, 30 feet. If I would be the center of an explosion of 30 feet, would I hit all the birds? Like if you imagine a 30 feet sphere around me?
30 feet is probably not going to do it. They're outside of that range. In fact, they're literally doing a bunch of hit and runs. Like just kind of, coming in, hitting, and then flying away again.
Then that plan does not work out if they are further away than that. Let's have a look at the range of this. 120 feet would help, right?
Yes. That would
Okay.
definitely... That's a pretty good chance that you're going to get them, yes.
Okay, then I'm going to put I'm going to use Scorching Ray
Okay.
and just shoot at, well, the birds that I can hit just randomly.
Well,
any birds will do.
Okay, all right. Then we'll do the same thing that I just had Celsig do, which is you're going to roll a 4-sided die and subtract 1, and we'll see which one of these 3 randomly that you hit.
Okay. -1 is what we want.
Okay, which means that's fine. So so that means the first one. Okay.
Greta
Okay,
attacks
so-
the darkness.
Yeah, exactly. She hits Urash. Oh. Wow. Waplow. The power of Scorching Ray compels you. All right.
Yep, and that there are 3 of them.
Okay. There's 3 Scorching Rays. Are
Yeah,
you aiming
3
all? Are you
you-
aiming
you-
all at the
you-
same?
You create 3 rays of fire and hurl them at targets within range.
And you were aiming these all at one target, yes?
If that is the target that I just...
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think I can... They're flying. I don't think I can aim at 3. That would be very difficult. it
What's your
seems.
max damage?
How do I know?
Well, what is the damage on the question is what the damage is on the Scorching Ray.
2d6 is the damage on the Scorching Ray.
So then we're talking 12. So you hit it with 12 points of damage for each one of those rays. 2d6, right? Each ray does 12. Yeah, it does 2d6, right?
Each ray does 2d6.
You blow this the bleep up. It goes just like column of flame goes flying. And you hear this, and it's so powerful that the thing spins and impacts. There is a sickening crunch and then silence from whatever that thing was that just hit the ground. Now there were 2 left.
Its place
Okay.
is just a perfect roast turkey.
Yeah, that was impressive. All right, Greta, are you moving or are you staying where you are?
I don't want to... I will just also throw myself to the ground because that seems to work very well for Celsic.
And then
I'm a
stop,
quick
drop, and
learner.
roll. Sounds like a plan. Okay. Urash is raging. Now, Mike, if you can hear me, you've got flying creatures above you. You've got this axe of blood that is drawn, but you don't necessarily have anything in melee range. What do you want to do with this? In case anyone's wondering what's going on, Mike's internet has completely collapsed on him, other than chat. So he's conveying his wishes to us via chat. Wait for it, wait for it.
Completely one-upped by Greta at the moment. It's like, I've been providing covering fire, I've been pulling off good sniping, and then Greta
Just
just
gets up like a wow, yeah.
I'm just like, oh.
Critical hit was impressive. Mike is going to axe the bird some questions. Yes, I am. We are waiting for you, Mike. Do you got these 2 flying creatures above you, but they're not necessarily in melee range. So I'm asking what you want to do.
Jump on them and tear them down.
Leap upon the. Well, you'd have to run after. I don't know if you could do that. You could try. Attack Celsic.
Hey!
What's up, Chrono Wolf? Use your cell phone like it in Australia. That's true. He can't though. His data's almost used up, Matt. Running leap
Running-
onto one. You know what? I'm gonna say that the one that is listing that Celsic has hit a bunch of times might be possibly to do this. So you see you guys, Celsic and Greta, you see Urash take off at a run, roaring loudly. The axe that he holds is sort of faintly glowing in the darkness, and then kind of leaps up. So I'm gonna ask one of you guys to make an athletics check again for me. And we're going to see whether or not he can get up high enough. So that means you're going to roll a 20. You're going to add 13 to it.
I still have that prepared.
Parkour from a tree. No, the one that's close enough.
Oh, well.
18. Let's see. I'm going to say that's probably enough. Go ahead and now if you can make an attack for him. So this is going to be... Oh, God, with rage also. I think rage means he's going to have advantage on attack roll, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. So he's got... Alright, so he's got 1d12. I'm not looking for the weight. There it is, +8. So, so you're gonna roll a d20, and then I think you're going to roll a +8, but I need to look at rage to make sure. Yeah, but he's leaping. I don't think I'm going to allow necessarily a reckless swing. It's reckless enough that he's doing the leaping I am Sparta, attack that we're doing here. So,
And he said double attacks too, so I don't know how
You
barbarians
gain a
work.
bonus to the damage roll that increases as you gain levels. Yeah, you can throw as a minute use attack recklessly. If you want, you can attack recklessly, and yes, you can attack twice. That's right. So you can attack twice. Do you want to attack recklessly, Mike? That means you're going to get advantage this turn, but then you'll have advantage against you next turn. No, I'm reckless enough on the day-to-day. Okay, so just 2 attacks. So whoever's rolling for him, if you could roll twice, and we're going to add 8 to it.
So 2d20 plus 8.
That's it.
Coming in.
Wow. No.
No?
Sorry. 20 plus 8 and then 20 plus 8. So you're rolling 2 separate attacks,
Oh.
each of which you add 8 to.
Okay,
so
I'm g-
so
gonna
that
do it
first one
again.
is, yeah, I guess do it again. So first 20 plus 8.
Okay. First one coming in.
24.
And second one
Second
coming
one.
in.
That's her.
14. Okay. Let's see. Both of those are hits. Let's see. And that means he does... He makes a melee attack roll, bonus to the damage roll. Oh, sorry. There's a rage damage column I gotta find for a second. Rage damage. Plus 2 is the rage damage. So, he's going to... So what you need to do is roll 1d12... And then we're going to add 7 to it. Greta, please.
1d12 plus 7.
And then you're going to do that again.
Coming in. Ah! That was evil! Did you see that was a 10?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then one more time.
Curse you are in Jesus.
Oh, wow.
Okay, 16. So 25 damage. So he leaps up and then brings his axe of blood down, and it hits the wing and basically cuts off the wing of this thing. The creature just goes and starts like spiraling, like in Star Wars you hit the X-wing like right, just like impacts the ground. Again, there is a scream and then silence from whatever the rider used to be, and that's it. And now there is just the one that remains. Okay, that was, let's see, the 2 attacks. Okay, now it is going to get its attack. Blood Rage, Axe of Blood. Plus Axe of Blood. Yes, but you also, do you want me to also have it kill, you kill its mother? Because you've killed everything associated with it. Mike, there is such a thing as overkill. You annihilated it entirely. There is nothing left of it, really. Let's see. There is, however, the one that's left over that is still attacking you. We've got 17 and an 18, both of which I think are going to hit.
Well, so he did not only chop the wings off, but also the head, if he wants to.
Yes,
Like
in one
chop,
smooth
chop, chop.
motion, right?
Yes. Chop, 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 chop.
Okay, 18. So he takes 18, which is reduced to 9 because of his rage damage from the still remaining creature.
8. He takes 9. Yes.
Right. Yep. I got that. He dropped it down to 9. So he took 18, but I reduced that to 9
Yep.
because of his.
But he took 18 in total. No, wait. This is mine. Oh gosh. No, I did not note this properly down. I'm sorry.
I have you right now at 24, Greta. You're at 24 hit points total. Celsig's at 33. Urash is at 33. That's what I've got.
Yes, I'm at 24. That is true.
Okay. All right, and then it flaps off again. Celsig, you're up, and Chrono, I see you, and we should be done with this momentarily. I believe, depending on how they do.
Stick with the plan. Just going to pull out my short bow and take another shot at the last guy.
Okay.
So roll for that. 23.
Wow, you've been on point today. Even with a -2,
Yeah.
you hit. Okay. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Come on, 5 piercing.
All right.
Not the best damage, but whatever.
All right, that is a hit. You're going to stay where you are. You back down to the ground, like up, shoot,
Back
prone,
down.
up, shoot, prone. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Greta, you're up.
Then I will just put little something in it.
Little something.
Yeah, like yeah, maybe the guiding bolt. I think that's nice.
Okay.
I'm gonna put that in there.
Alrighty.
Coming in. Hitting.
25 is a hit for sure.
Yeah, and that is going to be 4d6 of damage.
Alrighty.
4d6 plus nothing. Roll. There we go. 13.
13. Okay. So this light streaks down from the sky, strikes it, and the sort of wobbles back and forth and bangs into the ground. Now it doesn't stop moving, but it's now sort of dragging itself kind of along the ground. And you hear a cursing in the darkness as presumably its rider is sort of yelling at it, which leads us to Urash, who I assume, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, is going to attack twice with Reckless Fury the creatures that are on the ground. And so I'm going to ask Greta, I think, to roll again whatever I told her to do last time, which was, I think, 20 plus 8.
Yes.
And we're going to do that twice.
There we go. First one. No, it is so close. Second one. Wait, sorry, I misclicked there. It went up there. Sorry. Ignore that one. There, and then...
18 and...
yeah. 22 and 18.
Both hits. Okay, so again, 1d12 plus
7.
Plus 7, yes.
There we go. 1d12 plus 7. And 1d12 plus 7. What is going on?
I think that'll be enough.
12 and 12, yeah. All right, so he brings down his axe, and the first one kills the bird, just and just literally chops off his head. And then the second one, the creature that was riding it staggers towards him, and Urash, in one smooth motion, brings his axe of blood across in a wicked cut across the front of this creature, and it gives a gurgling, sucking chest wound cry and falls backward onto the ground. And Selsig, as you sort of, as you and Greta stand and walk over to where Urash stands, his sides heaving, you see coming down through the dancing lights, sort of the reflection that's cast off by them, you see one large black feather that just settles into your hand, Selsig, and you sort of hold it and look at the feather. Urash looks at all of you as you stand over the body of these dead creatures. And I think, since it is now 2 minutes after 7 p.m. and the top of the hour, I think that is where we have to call it, unfortunately, although at least we had epic battle music when we made that happen. All right, guys, so you survived this midnight assault, but who are these creatures? Why do they attack you? That we'll have to discover as you continue to make your way down to find out more about Storm King's Thunder. Sorry about the technical issues that we had, everyone, but I think it still ended up being a pretty fun session to watch these guys do their work. And that was quite a combat, guys. You acquitted yourself admirably under the circumstances. I wasn't sure how that was going to go when Greta had her armor on in the middle of a fjord. I was like, not sure that was...
There's always one.
I'm just keenly aware that there's 3 airborne things zooming down on me. And it's like, what do I do?
Yeah, I was just kind of like, I don't know what that's all about. But good job. And Mike, you were here in spirit even for those moments that you weren't. So you will get that fixed. I will do the honors for Mike, because if you guys want to know more about Mike, you should check out his YouTube channel under Screaming Joypad. Mike does not stream anymore on Twitch, but he does do stuff with YouTube, and he does stream with me, doing not only D&D here, but also D&D on my channel. If you like Mike's work here tonight, you will see more of him on Saturday, because Saturday the 11th, we will continue the Infinity and Beyond crew, where Mike is playing not a barbarian, but a warforged called TikTok, who is also a really enjoyable character. And by then, Mike should have talked to Richard Branson about getting him better internet, directly. So I'm sure that will be covered. So thanks for the work today, Mike, and thanks for hanging in there. And no problem at all, man. It happens. We managed to get through it. That brings us up to Saber, whose internet is pristine, like just works as perfectly as it can. Good job as always, Saber. And where will the fine folks see you next?
Next, you can see me tomorrow here on GOG, 9 p.m. UTC, where I'm going to be covering Space Pirates and Zombies 1 and 2. We're going to play about an hour of Space Pirates and Zombies 1, and then go into Space Pirates and Zombies 2, which is just released, so we can compare them and see how they're different, because apparently they're two very, very different games. You can always catch me on twitch.tv/darksaber2k as well. I stream most days. Still in the middle of doing a 4-year celebration of streaming, looking at some of my favorite games. We've just finished Mass Effect. We're gearing up to do Mass Effect 2 and a couple of other surprise games along the way. So, yep.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff tonight, and I am looking forward to seeing some of that. I had a chance to catch some of Saber's Mass Effect playthrough, and it was fun. It's a good streamer you guys should follow. Also a good streamer who you people should be following, although she streams mostly on here, but you should be checking out her work, because Pyron and I share a common love for the Underworld games and Grimrock, because they're great games, and anyone who doesn't realize that is just lost. Pyron, where are the fine folks going to see you next? Thank you for the follow, Ray, by the way.
I'm going to be streaming here on GOG next on Thursday for a release stream that I'm very, very much looking forward into. It's actually going to be kind of a double release, with me having one and then Panzer's Aaron directly after me. And the games are a little bit connected. So this is going to work out. It's going to be awesome. So I'll be back on Thursday for, like a little theme evening with some cool releases.
Good stuff. Definitely worth checking out. You should do that. As I say, it's always fun to check out one of Pyron's streams. I will close up shop, and I will do so after letting you folks go. But great job, and I really do want to give a shout out. I really enjoy this group. I enjoy all the people that I play with for different reasons. The thing I really like about this group is the just sort of general enthusiasm and the chemistry. They work really well with each other, and that's great. And that makes D&D fun, and there's a big adventure in front of them still, including why the hell they're being attacked by birds in the middle of the night. So we're going to find out why that is. But good job today, folks, and I will see you wonderful people next month. I'll talk to you before that, but good work today. And Pyron, Saber, and of course, Screaming Joypad, thank you guys so much. I will chat with you guys soon.
Catch you next time.
Chat, can we get some love for the players? Can we get some love for the players? Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
And there we go. All right, everybody. So that is going to do it for them, and that's going to do it as well for me. This was a really good time, though. I really enjoyed the D&D stuff, as always. And now that I've had a chance to sign out, which I have, there we go, I can actually tell you folks that you can find these wonderful people also streaming on GOG, except for Mike, the Screaming Joypads. That was great as well. Thank you so much for the follows tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. D&D remains my favorite game. I've never had a better one, played a better one. It's just so many good stories and good moments and bringing people together, and that's what it's all about. So thank you guys so much for being here. I will be back at you guys on my own channel on Friday, where I'm going to be finishing up The Last Guardian. I may be doing a creative stream as well, because I'm in the midst of, I just started a new novel that I'm working on, and a new book that I'm working on, and so I've got other stuff going on with that. But if you want to check me out, you can definitely do that over at the Arvin Elleron channel as well. And I will be back here with a stream of Vaporum, which is the other game that I'm playing on my Pen and Pixel show. I'll be back here for that next Tuesday, so you can check me out there as well. I want you guys to stick around now for Chrono Wolf, a good friend and an excellent streamer who is going to be playing, oh god, why do I not remember? I heard this before. He's playing, what the devil is Matt playing? Yes, Solus Project. Yes, that's right. He's playing the Solus Project. So you should stick around and check out. Matt is going to be playing the Solus Project. And last sort of bit of last advertisement. If you guys are in the United States, you see this? That's a voter guide. Go vote, people. If you are in the U.S., it is important. If anything the last year has shown, if we have learned anything from the last year, it is that voting really matters. I am going to stop the stream, and I'm going to go vote myself. The polls don't close for another couple hours, so I'm going to go vote myself and do my civic duty. Please do that as well. This is your voice. It's the thing that makes it possible for you to get your wishes heard, and only if your wishes are heard will the government adjust and make change based upon what your voice is. So go use your voice now. A lot of people fought, lived, and died for this. It matters. Go do it. That said, thank you all so much, and I will catch all of you wonderful people very soon. Now stick around for the wonderful Chrono Wolf streaming the Solus Project. Thanks to everyone. Thanks to my players, and I'll catch all you wonderful people soon. Until then, have a good one. searching, though I don't know